Meanwhile, Shopify, I'm sure they have wholesome values too.
Yeah, I'm like, what are we implying here? You know? Meanwhile, Shopify, word on the street, hate their moms. Weird.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Let's keep it on the rift here. Good, clean game of League of
I was
Legends.
trying to, but I was just shocked when I heard that, you know?
Yeah, I know.
Who would even say something like that?
Is Ludwig watching right now?
Yeah, what's up with that?
We got to talk to him.
You guys hate your moms? Come on.
Why is he going to get the moms out there?
Yeah, where are the Shopify moms?
He's got to get the whole families, actually. He's going to have to one-up them, you know?
Oh, exactly.
You can't just, like, equal.
Yeah, it can become a battle, and then you're bringing in third cousins and stuff.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
people you never met
The
before.
family reunion.
Yeah. Gotta get the dogs out here. All right, well, we got a lot of the usual suspects on the ban list here. Varus, Orianna, Karma, Seraphine. A lot of the enchanters getting perma-banned these days, and it is going to be a Bard first pick here for Cryogen. One of his popular picks these days, for sure.
Yeah, I feel like it is a very versatile champion too. Obviously, like you can do offensive or defensive ults with it. Like you can build a team that wants to split on the map or still good for team fights. Like you can pick Caitlyn. Bard is definitely a very, very good combo at the moment, but definitely has a lot of other partners as well. All right, the Ezreal plus the Nico here for the poke and the engage.
Yeah, Ezreal Nico, very strong. It is kind of what people seem to go to when Karma is taken away a lot of the times. Of course, you can play Ezreal with a lot of different champions. It is quite versatile. We'll see what Griffin wants to play this week.
I've been waiting for him to do Skarner because we've had all this talk about Hanbok Skarner, and it's crazy. You gotta ban it. But Griffin was one of the first pro players to spend tons and tons of games on Skarner after the rework. He was spamming it, climbing Korean solo queue, and innovated on his builds. And now Skarner's good again, and Griffin's not slamming it. He's still stuck on this Pantheon, which is a very good pick, and has a lot behind it as well. So they got the point and click stun. The good setup here with Pantheon that we've talked about many times for Griffin, and he's had some very good games on it.
And we've talked many times about this Jhin, a very controversial pick that Masu loves. Clearly is a big fan of the pick, but a lot of people are not a fan of him picking it. And generally speaking, a lot of teams, have not been having the most success with it. He did only play it one time this split.
It got the haters.
Exactly. He got a big early game lead, but it did end up resulting in a loss. And I'm curious what his record was on locking, because I recall him playing it in locking quite a bit as well. Yeah, so he was 1-3 on it in lock-in, and then 0-1, so 1-4 overall throughout the full year on the pick. And it is one that, like, you understand why he plays it. He seems to perform very well on it in-game. He hits so many long-range deadly flourishes. He's, really on point with it. But it also often just results in a loss. It's just one of those things that I think you need a lot of support from the rest of your team as far as consistent DPS, because Jhin often does not really bring that. And a lot of times when Jhin gets picked, people then will go with like really heavy frontline picks that are just going to be kind of able to kind of play in the face of the Jhin. And Jhin really struggles against like Scions and Ornns and champions of that nature.
It is interesting here because we'll see if Fudge does go with a big BP frontline and allow FlyQuest Gakkos to play some like Gwen carry or something into it, because I could definitely see him picking something like that and having a field day up there. So he's had more success as you've been focused on a lot of the carry champions rather than playing the tanks himself for Gakkos. So that can always be an angle. Snip.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I just think that he plays these carries so well. He's really good at setting up his own plays, finding his own angles to really create action. And that's something that you can't always do on a tank, right? Generally for a tank, you have to be really well coordinated with your team. It's more about setting up for your teammates rather than setting up for yourself. You can't necessarily go on these, one-man dives or big flanks on your own. Shopify clearly investing heavily into full dive here with Annie, Nocturne, Nico, True Shot Barrage over the top, and we're just kind of waiting to find out what Fudge will be going for, as Gakkos will be the one playing blind, which, since he is picking blind, there's a higher chance that he would go towards those tanks that they haven't had nearly as much success on.
Man, this is a crazy blitz comp. Like, just in the phrase of like going very aggressive very quickly.
Let's crank top, like Lorlo.
Not exactly the yeah, just like Lorlo. But Nocturne with Nico and Annie, holy moly, that engage is crazy. And this is 2 immobile carries. Picking the Victor here as well. It's a very good lane. You outrange the Annie in lane. You know, you can poke him down. Especially, you have to imagine, with Deathfire Touch, that's going to be even more abusive. Victor is one of the best at
Anivia top.
Okay, here we go.
Or is it going to be Victor top? I mean, either or, but I think it's Anivia top. Anivia top is actually really strong in solo queue right now. Has been strong in solo queue for a long time, just incredibly low play rate, but has always been a really, really high win rate champion.
And it's been used in pro play, you know,
here and there.
A lot in like counter pick scenarios. But definitely not as much for blind pick here. But we'll see if Gakkos up there is going to be fine with the Gragas. Gragas, of course, did get the W change, but
so it has 14 plays of Anivia top in the top 4 leagues in top lane, and 28% win rate. So has been played a decent bit, not that much success on it, of course, in top lane. Obviously doing, you know, a lot better in mid lane, more where it's kind of brought out as more of a standard pick, but very interesting stuff. And it is going to be Gragas, you know, which we got to see Gragas yesterday. You know, it did win the game, if I recall, but wasn't really doing that well in lane against the Jace. Obviously, the thought process of Gragas into all these range matchups is you can just Q max with Comet and you can kind of just poke and survive a lot of the damage that's going to be coming in. The W buff, you know, which we talked about a lot on the dive, is very big, but it's a very late game thing. No one's actually, that I've seen, changed their skill order to get points in W earlier. And it's the exact same as it was at rank 1. But when you get late in the game, especially if you're going Roa and you have all the XP from the role quest, hey, you can get max rank W.
Yeah, a lot of people like Gragas as kind of a neutralizing pick into a lot of matchups. So just a lot of good sustain up there and should be able to clear, no problem. But it also, for the team comp, gives even more engaged. You just, like, Nocturne with Annie and Nico and Gragas is crazy engaged. They can flank you from all angles. They can literally have all 5 people come from a different angle and threaten you. So FlyQuest going to have to keep up their vision, and even then, the lights might get turned off from Nocturne Ultimate. So we'll see how they can operate if Shopify Rebellion here can start to turn it up, because Shopify, they don't have a lot of time left here. Of course, there is some pressure at the bottom of the standings as we get closer and closer to playoffs, to the cutoff of getting in. And it would feel really good to get a win over FlyQuest here, because they're already kind of up in the middle of the pack there with the 2 wins for themselves. And Shopify would love to put some distance between themselves and like Disguised and stuff.
Yeah, DSG and Dig, you know, the 2 teams that are currently kind of down at the bottom there with them. But of course, you know, if Shopify loses, they will be in those bottom 2 spots for now. These are the previous couple matches, as we see Summoners getting traded out. Masu going to have to retreat back. That these teams have had. Obviously, Shopify has had very strong opponents. They played against LYON as well as C9. And then the 2 matches in the middle are the teams that both of them have played. So they have played against all of the top 3 teams on the side of Shopify, where FlyQuest still has some of those toughest matches remaining. So even though they are that 1 game up, does not guarantee that they're going to be finishing above them in the standings whatsoever.
Yeah. Definitely still up in the air. Would love to secure a big victory with Fudge, taking a decent amount of damage here as Gakkos is pushing in as well. Get him low on the sustain early on, and the Comet Gragas with the Doran's Ring, kind of as expected. But I really want to check in on how much can Victor abuse Annie in the matchup now with the Deathfire Touch being added. Because Victor is one of the best at keeping this up. And this rune really benefits if you can keep it up and get the increased damage. Zinni himself also going for it too, though, and just goes in for the trades to make sure that he can get some value out of his too during his shield timing. Yeah, but I imagine we'll check in on the damage numbers of the rune, you know, in like 10 minutes or whatever, and see a discrepancy, a fairly big one.
Yeah, I would think so. Annie in general just struggles into long range, right? Because you are just going to get poked every time you come up. I mean, this is why Quad is positioning so far forward. Every time Innie comes up for a last hit, the Victor can just hit you with a laser. Of course, you have a little bit of return damage with the Molten Shell. You know, you pop your E when you're getting hit by some damage. You know, that can apply the Deathfire Grass back and return a little bit of damage, but it is always difficult for you. And for Gragas, the early game is often just kind of pretty heavily mana gated. A lot of people feel like Gragas turns on once you get Catalyst if you want to go towards that Roa build. Though a lot more people are going Rocket Belt and sometimes just Tier into Rocket Belt. When we saw Gragas yesterday, it was both Tier and Roa, so there are a lot of different options you can go for as far as builds.
All right, junglers done with their first clears. Just trade crabs, do a little handshake there, and go for a normal recall. So just normal laning for the very beginning here. Nothing too crazy, as FlyQuest are actually pushing in on both mid and bottom side.
And we got Jad, though, who's standing by with a very special guest.
Thanks. I'm here with a mom of FlyQuest, Masu's mom. Tell me a little bit about what FlyQuest has done this past week.
Okay, so for that, I'm very grateful and thankful for FlyQuest for this invitation for the Mother's Day. So it was like such an event to spend with our sons, me and the other mothers, and it's really very nice to be here live on the stage with all the players, with you guys, everyone.
What's it been like watching Masu play these last several years? Because he came through the academy system, had so much success last year, and now he's kind of a leader on this new FlyQuest
Yes,
team.
yeah, that's right. This is very rewarding to my heart because I see him growing in this field, and this is his passion since he was 7, 9 years old. He started with the E-games, and then at 10 years old, he was playing better than his brother, the oldest one who introduced him to this game.
It's amazing seeing your support for him. How invested do you get into the games when he's playing?
So when he's playing, no. For myself, I would be frozen to death because I will be just saying your prayers, hoping the team to win. If he wins, so this is Masu's win. If he loses, this is the teammate's fault. Yeah.
What do you think the chances are today for a FlyQuest win?
So I wish everyone has, for FlyQuest to win, but I like also Shopify Rebellion, win for FlyQuest, for sure.
Okay, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for everyone.
Yeah, back to the cast.
Mm-hmm.
She could be a League of Legends player herself. She's already got the mentality down. If you win, it's because of you. If you lose, it's the teammate's fault.
Yep, she's just like me for real. It's either Masu's wins or teammates.
What's the team doing? Didn't support Masu enough today. That's funny. It's great seeing the families come out and being so supportive. And that's something that's actually just cool in general, as Masu, going to get wrapped around on here, does get rooted up. Should be okay, but does take quite a bit of damage there. As Cryogen now going to come in, Deadly Flourish will go wide. Seos taking a little damage on the back end of that trade, but now Contracts is here. Griffin is going to be here as well. Cryogen forced to use the Magical Journey in retreat.
Put up some hot cocoa here for the healing afterwards, so not too big of an exchange. Going to go for full recalls on the side of FlyQuest here, so actually Masu's going to stop his and just continue farming, but Contracts feels pretty good here on the Nocturne. Level 6 should be able to start up the Dragon off of that play. And it doesn't look like FlyQuest even want to contest.
Yeah, something worth noting is that B-Boy is actually playing Exhaust. So something that you see more in solo queue, especially as tech against assassins and these types of champions. But you definitely see it a lot less in pro. And it is interesting because Anivia is going to be calling longer range, Victor's longer range. Obviously, Griffin on the Pantheon is a great target, and maybe that's what he's kind of thinking about it for. The Grand Starfall comes through, you just kind of exhaust the Pantheon and negate a lot of that damage. But it is an interesting tech choice here, and we'll see how that pays off.
Yeah, definitely very interesting, especially if you get into isolated duels with people and side lanes and stuff later on too. Yeah, with Bard being a very roam-heavy support and Nico also being a very roam-heavy support, maybe we do see Masu with Trinity Force Spike and looking for some plays with Exhaust.
Yeah, absolutely. Could look for those plays on Masu. And Zinni just continuing to get pushed in here, but has stayed basically dead even as far as the farm is concerned, so not going to be worried about that whatsoever. Fudge has been under his tower for most of this lane, as you would expect against Anivia. It's very hard in an isolated 1v1. I've even seen a lot of top laners talking about even just Theory crafting, what is even supposed to be the counter pick to Anivia? Because Anivia in isolated 1v1 for most top lane champs is just very, very difficult. So it is going to be tough for Fudge, but he is sustaining well, and really his job is just surviving. He doesn't have to do too much.
Yeah, exactly. The kind of nullifier pick, the absorbing pick, whatever you want to call it up there. Not give up too much pressure on your tower plates, keep your CS decent, and then perform in team fights.
And that's one of the nice things about Gragas, kind of similar to Cassante, is that even when you're getting pushed in, it is risky to hit the tower against Gragas, because Gragas can both clear out the wave and knock you in with the explosive cask. And that can mean all of a sudden you are stunned under the tower from a body slam, the tower is shooting you, and that is how Gragas gets a lot of 1v1 kills when people get a little bit over aggressive and they're trying to chip away at that turret. So something that Gatghost is going to have to be careful of. You know, even if he perma has push, can't always hit the tower.
And look at this, they are really respecting the Pantheon ability to ult it down here. So wave held there by FlyQuest, very close to their turret, and Shopify don't want to expose themselves to a Pantheon ultimate or anything early on, because they know Contracts is taking the grubs right now. We've got junglers on opposite sides of the map, and so they just go for a recall, and they just kind of eat some of the CS lost that is going to occur.
And you can see both Quad and Gatghost are going to be going for the Rod of Ages rush here. Makes a lot of sense, especially when you're seeing how much burst, how much dive there is over on the other side. You want a little bit of tankiness. And generally speaking, a lot of the Anivias these days are not going tier. They're just going Roa straight into something else, Leandries, whatever. But also a reminder that the LCS Spring Finals will be taking place in Mullet Arena at Arizona State University from June 13th to 14th. The tickets are available now. Scan that QR code. And maybe you'll see some of these teams there. Who knows?
Maybe. Gonna have to make a strong run here, but either of these teams are positioned to do it.
Just got to lock in for playoffs.
Lock in. Honestly, when are we gonna get some action in this game? We've had a Nocturne and a Pantheon both with ultimates ready for a while, but nobody is trading heavily enough to blow any summoner spells.
Oh, here we go. You ask for it, and Griffin's going to deliver. The Grand Starfall coming down to the bot lane. They're looking for Seos. The roots, the stuns. Cryogen almost gets burst down on the other side, but they lose vision of him. I think the Nocturne lost vision on that Paranoia because Seos died right as he popped it. So not only is that first blood for FlyQuest, it is a frustrated Contracts who can't go in for that free kill.
Oh, so close there trying to get the counter, but he who strikes first often reaps the rewards, and FlyQuest, they use it first. They got the setup. Really good CC chain onto Seos. Seos didn't even get to flash. Topside play.
Zinni is here, and that is the nice setup for Fudge. Gatghost, you have to think he is about to die. Zinni is out of mana, but I don't know if you're going to get away, even if you do come back to life here, and Tibbers is burning you down. Zinni claims the reward from the roam, and the nice setup there from Fudge.
Okay, there they go. Now they get their counter kill. It does leave mid open, though. You see the minions dying, and you see Quad as well, farming another turret plate for himself. So it still comes at a cost, though they do even up the kill score at the very least. FlyQuest still quite happy with this marginal gold lead that they have early in the game.
And I think this play right here exemplifies a lot of times where it's actually better, if you're going to be late on the roam, don't match the roam, just push. Because Quad is actually up gold, even though Zinni got a kill off of his roam, and you're getting experience, you're sometimes taking plates, you know, there's a lot of a cost every time you roam.
Yeah, especially if you're a Victor, and your roam is not that great.
It's slow.
You're slow, you're hobbling over there with your cane, your walking stick. It doesn't have the biggest initial impact, but speaking of initial impacts, here is the play onto Seos, and he walked right onto the ward, so they just attack him immediately going for the control ward. Instant answer there. Seos used the magical, Cryogen used the magical journey, and they had the burst damage. Good flash from him, and with the control ward still alive in the bush as well, he was able to walk out just.
And in that replay, Contracts finished all the Krugs before he went over. I think he could have actually got there faster. He would have just had to drop the camp, but here comes Seos looking for the engage. The Pop Blossom across two. The True Shot Barrage onto Griffin. He's looking for a trade back. He flashes, he goes through the wall as B-Boy comes in, trying to get Cryogen. Cryogen looking like he's going to get chased down. Can't actually get to the Blast Cone and get out. It's a couple of kills there for Shopify.
Okay, so FlyQuest, they do get the Dragon, but it's a very big cost. Top lane, though, is pushing in their favor. So at least Gatghost, the Anivia, after getting back, is going to be able to get turret plate money and get some money for FlyQuest there, too, to kind of balance some of the kills. But let's take a look at this because they do barely burst down the dragon. Jin 4th shot. Masu's the one who gets it. And then Griffin trying to kill Seos again. They get so close, but with the exhaust, he's also going to go down. So they got one right there. And then B-Boy's able to arcane shift over the top. And so second death here for Seos. But they get the extra kill for themselves.
That was a bit of a risky fight, though, for Shopify. I feel like had Griffin got the Aegis Assault up a little bit earlier, and generally you see people time that with the Pop Blossom pretty easily, because he got hit by that before the Aegis Assault came up, then he got hit by the True Shot Barrage. He took so much damage before he got that out. He didn't actually get it off until he came out of that at about 5% HP. So had he actually blocked a lot of that initial damage, maybe the fight goes way more in their favor.
Plus, they're actually not getting the great gold distribution on these kills because Cryogen also got the last hit on that one on Seos, and so that's 2 kills for Cryogen. It did fund his Mikhails, so maybe that saves your life, and then you're like, oh, okay, fine. But
saved your life. Your teammates would have executed you otherwise.
Sweating.
Don't worry. I got a good support item. It's not a dev man. So I bought a Mikhails.
I'm spending the money for you.
Exactly.
You know, look what I got you.
I did rob you, but I bought you something nice with it, with the money. There you go. Well, he saves himself, and maybe
like
his
that.
teammates with the Mikhails.
This is a genius. Okay.
Yeah.
He's now on the move, as Bards will, rotating around the map, trying to create some plays here. And now there are some summoner spells to take advantage of. I'm mainly looking at the Victor, though. Quad, no flash, and being in a side lane can be a dangerous spot for a Victor. Currently, he's getting pushed in, so he's fine. You have to give up a little bit of pressure, but you stay safe by your tower.
Contracts was heading down there, but of course they saw Griffin was in the area, who is covering Quad. And Contracts continuing to farm effectively here. Is up a decent little bit of experience, you know, I don't know, 30% of a level or so, working in towards that rank 2 ultimate, which he would love to grab before he has to pop Paranoia again. You get the increased range, you get the reduced cooldown. It is going to feel so much more easy to make those plays once you have that second rank in the ultimate.
Definitely true, and the consecutive ones come a lot quicker. Top side's a lot of vision here, too, invested from FlyQuest, so they definitely setting up camp. No, Gragas is pretty hard to punish, especially with the tankier build, with flash available. So, honestly, I'm still trying to...
Oh, Zinni rocket belts in there, but Quad getting some good damage back onto him. And yeah, talking about that Gragas, it is going to be the tier plus Roa. I'm assuming it's just going to be Fimbulwinter, the same style of build as before. Sometimes people do go into a more aggressive full AP style build, but generally it's AP tanky as Griffin going to get jumped on. This time the Aegis Salt is timed well. Contract splashes in. Here comes the Pop Blossom. The Mikhails is there, as well as the Bardol from Cryogen and the Binding, but they can't get the damage back onto Contracts to take him down. And Masu put low as well. Nice attempt by Cryogen to save his jungler, but Griffin does get picked off at the end of the day.
Yeah, and Contracts, he flashes early, even though Griffin's flash not quite back up, but it also ends up veering them to walk a little bit back towards the other direction, too. Masu uses the barrier.
Yeah, got a bit nervous there. If that Mystic Shot hit, knew he might have been going down as the W had already connected, so Masu has to early pop the barrier. Gonna get spotted. True Shot Barrage is up now as he gets the cooldown reset. Masu seeing that blue trinket, that is a bit of a tell that he's going to be looking for it, so knows to sidestep it, and Shopify going to be starting up this Herald. Masu's recall, though, still delayed, even though he didn't die, so not really much of an opportunity to contest this, I don't feel like.
Yeah, it feels pretty dangerous. So even though Griffin does have his ultimate, don't think they're going to use it here. You just kind of accept your losses after that previous fight and losing a lot of priority on the mid. Masu with his back now trying to make his way back out there. And it's just going to be a good objective here from Shopify. And it's Seos who starts it out. That ward up by the Raptors here, letting Seos land this snare to make this initiation possible. You shout out Cryogen there. He's doing his best. He tried to save a life with the money that he spent, but not quite able to save him from all of the Shopify burst. So really good play from Shopify. You know, that ward, this area around Raptors that you just saw there, definitely a strong spot for looking for some of these picks mid-game here. And Seos setting the trap and starting it all off. Yeah,
well, for FlyQuest, it was Cryogen that's getting those kills. B-Boy is grabbing almost all of them on the other side. Zinni got the only other kill. B-Boy has grabbed every kill that he has been around for, so he's now 3-0 And even though they're dead even in CS, he's up 1.2k gold. The Ezreal getting very strong at this point. That tier is almost fully stacked, and he already has that Triforce, so much stronger than Masu at this point of the game. And it's going to make things a little bit more difficult there for FlyQuest.
Meanwhile, Dragon setup here for FlyQuest going nicely, though. See if they get the push out. Contracts does have another ult ready on Nocturne, though, so they could send again.
Yeah, Contracts is moving over to that side of the map, so they're definitely here and ready. Contracts will be spotted as he steps on that Jhin trap crossing. But it feels like with Griffin going up towards topside, I don't know if they still want to even contest this. It feels like they might just be looking to give and just continue to play towards that top side of the map.
Yeah, I mean, look, the B-Boy is just huge right now. On 2-item power spike, he's got full mid lane prior. They're going to get the tower and the setup for the Dragon easily here. He just pushes in. Can't really contest this Ezreal on... He's about to transform to Muramana also. It's like he is really, really power spiking here. The poke damage from this Ezreal is going to get insane.
Fudge did go Lost Chapter, so he is going full AP. So he is going to go for that more aggressive style. Yesterday we did see the Fimbulwinter. Of course, quite a while ago, quite a long time ago at this point, they did take a lot of the base damages out of Gragas to try to incentivize that you had to go more AP. And that's why we kind of saw the death of Tank Gragas, where it's like, hey, all of a sudden you need AP to actually clear out these waves and to have more threat. So he is going to be going for that Archangels, and we'll see how it does work out for him. You know, AP Gragas is just really exciting to watch because it is so hit or miss. It's such high variance. If you have that perfect team fight, you can instantly win it for your team. If you go in, your body slam gets flashed, your cast knocks someone away, it is absolutely cooked.
True. Gragas is very important to hit your skills, this champion. I have to say, he also, although he gave up the top tower, he gave it up slower.
Honorably.
Yeah, he gave it up honorably, but he also gave it up slower because B-Boy was able to get the first tower bonus in mid before losing it. So that's basically job completed right there. Your Ezreal got the first tower bonus gold. And
look at that walk. That's a confident man.
True. Everyone uses this Arctic Ops skin as well. It's so smooth. As we now we'll see him take center stage. Can he get a good Gragas initiation?
Cryogen going to be able to spot him walking in, but he's going to be able to just magical journey back to safety here as Shopify do start up this Dragon. It was quite delayed on the start, and now Griffin is coming out from base here. Zinni getting poked away on there. Does have to use a Rocket Belt as the Grand Starfall comes in. Griffin can not connect, but he can steal the Dragon. The Pop Blossom coming through does connect onto a couple, and on the far side, it's Gatkos in trouble, but Masu is stepping forward. They've killed off Seos. B-Boy's looking like he's in trouble. Contract's gonna get stunned up. The Tempered Fate connects onto the Ezreal. Can they stun him in the wall? Cryogen gets burst down before he can follow up his own CC, but Gatkos with the Flash Frost across the wall connects onto Fudge. Fudge goes back into the pit. I'm not sure if that's where he wants to be. B-Boy and Zinni, though, standing strong on the side, and Fudge escapes over the backside of that pit. Does have to flash out. FlyQuest, though, walk away with the extra kill and the Dragon, thanks to the big steal from Griffin.
Oh, man, these fights when you have Nocturne and they turn out the lights look so crazy from the other team's perspective. The way that Gatkos played this with his teleport shield on Anivia, he just ran straight in, knowing he has the teleport shield and the Anivia egg, and he just like flew right into the middle of the enemy team, the cast wall, and flashed over. So let's take another look. FlyQuest looking to contest here, so they teleport in. He's going to get the big Anivia shield from the bottom side. Quad pushes Zinni out from this side, so Zinni's basically out of the fight here, but then you have him flying right in. You get the Seos ultimate, and immediately, look, he's flashing over here. He has 3 people on him. They can't actually put threat on his life because he also has egg, though. So it allows FlyQuest to get the early lead. It's just then, with the follow, Cryogen also gets bursted, and then you have to give a little bit on the chase, but definitely a nice contest from them. And even on a champion, you know, like Anivia, that is a high damage dealing spell caster with the teleport shield and the egg, you get right in there. And
nicely done.
Yeah, nicely done from them. They have both mages on the bottom side at the moment, though.
And I didn't quite catch it because it seemed like we went down a little bit late, but I'm assuming there was the wall in front of the tower, so I'm assuming he had the timing to actually stop the charge on the turret. Zinni did die in that picture-in-picture during the replay, was picked off walking through the river, so FlyQuest were able to grab another kill, and we saw that reaction from the FlyQuest family up in the press box there, watching the game, very happy about that last fight for FlyQuest.
So I went further back before the replay even started. He was clearing a control ward, and then he recalled right where he cleared the control ward.
Fudge going to be in some trouble here. Uses the explosive cast to try to buy some time here. Does sidestep the deadly flourish, but he is fully surrounded and taken down. But on the other side is Shopify trying to rush the Baron. Cryogen has eyes on it, though. I don't think they have the damage to finish this off. You have got to peel off immediately. But Masu, got to be careful face checking that. Zinni's going to flash in. Masu gets caught, and Masu gets deleted. Zinni's in trouble on the other side. Quad trying to survive. Contracts flashes forward. The Tempered Fate to buy a little bit of time. They got to block the shots from B-Boy, though. Quad does stay up. It's all up to B-Boy, though, as he shifts over the wall, takes down Cryogen. It is going to be a 3-for-3, an absolute bloodbath there as Masu went too far forward. He thought they were still in the Baron for sure. He got way too close to that brush.
Yeah, I mean, they were rushing in, trying to stop it. What's the last HP that they saw on it? Okay, so they see it now, 9K. They see 9K. Yeah, they see the full vision of it.
And they see they're off. It's even reset. He got way too close.
Yeah.
He just, I think his camera was not on the Baron bit. You have to think.
Yeah. And you know, you have to re-examine comps there too. Like that is the critical information that should be in the comps. They're off. Because again, when we're in Champ Select, highlighting so heavily the crazy engage that this team comp is capable of with Nocturne, Ultimate, and Nico. We just saw the combination there, and they didn't even have the Gragas alive. Some head scratcher from Apollo there. He's just like, oh.
Yep.
Why?
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, you just got a little bit too close, and then you have that Rocket Bell flash engage, and all the ultis come through, and you are just insta one-shot if you miss position.
Yeah. I mean, it's so scary. Literally, like, every champion on that squad can do it. Zinni got, I forget who was standing next to Masu, but it was a good setup there. So now we're in a world where the gold is very, very close, and we're just kind of separated by the extra dragon here. So now we start to open up the map, and you get more of these pick plays with the Nocturne, with the Bard looking around to blow summoner spells. And namely the Victor and the Anivia have to be really careful when farming and catching some of these waves. So it might start to get hard for FlyQuest to get like early timings on plays. They might have to like catch a lot of waves, be a lot receiving, and then you're a little bit behind on timers. At least that's what Shopify are looking to create. Yeah,
absolutely. And I mean, for Shopify, when I see B-Boy as this fed, I feel like I just need to make space for my Ezreal, right? You know, I can throw my life into the back line, create this space for him, push back Quad, push back Masu. And even if you're trading your life for a play like that, you give B-Boy space, he is going to do so much with it. He has 6 kills now. As Zinni not quite caught there by Cryogen, but he's going to be trying to catch up to him, looking for the binding, can't quite find it. The Deadly Flourish does connect, though, as the Paranoia gets popped, and Fudge on the side is fighting here. They're going to be trying to knock down Gakkos, but he flashes back, and Gakkos is softening up everyone. Griffin's going to flash over the wall. They do find the Ezreal, but the shift is buffered over the wall, and Gakkos is into the egg. Cryogen is trying to peel for his top laner here. The Grand Starfall going to be coming out. Masu's going to be looking as well. Contracts battling against Quad. Quad gets feared up. B-Boy shifts in, but it gets bound by Cryogen. Knocked down by Quad, who goes onto the killing spree. Contract's able to sidestep the Deadly Flourish as he escapes from Masu, but they're still chasing, and they're going to be able to get the Dragon off the back of this as well.
Oh, the chaos is not going in Shopify's favor. Contracts, I think you're going to get caught as well. He's scrambling. It's a game of hide and seek, and he doesn't have many places to hide.
This should be an easy kill here for Masu, trying to delay that death timer just a little bit longer, and now it's going to be Baron on the table with the jungler just falling down.
Azael, that play started all the way back the rewind. Zinni just whiffed his timbers. He was trying to hit Cryogen, isolated with it by the Tri-Brush. He whiffed it, and FlyQuest saw it, and they're like, oh, great, we're just going to run him down. And it leads all the way, not just to the Dragon going over to FlyQuest, but also the Baron.
We'll see if they can get there to try to do anything. B-Boy is back up. He's running from base. True Shot Barrage going to come out here. They're going to try to see if there's an angle to do anything here, but Griffin takes it. The Magical Journey is there to try to get out over the wall. Quad will be the last one out. And FlyQuest will exfiltrate the Baron. They grab it, and Fudge looking, but won't be able to find anything.
Oh, man. Zinni's got to want this one back. Are we going to see it?
Any,
No flash on any. Can we look at any? Any no R? Copy.
we keep looking at it
Still
or
keep
no?
looking at any. Yeah. Let's look at any.
Slowly, don't go too deep in her.
Any's dead. Any's dead.
Don't go too deep for her. Nico's behind.
They already me.
Nico.
Hop.
We 할 turn.
Oh,
Okay,
looks
okay.
good. Looks good. Looks good.
Looking
Slowly,
enemy,
slowly.
look at only.
Ezreal suck. Slowly.
Yeah, I'm coming. Take throw.
I'm ulting this way.
Ezreal no E,
I'm
Ezreal
ulting
no E.
right,
No
I'm
flash,
ulting right.
no flash.
Ezreal no flash.
I'm playing
Has
slow.
E now.
I killed Gragas.
Ezreal.
Drake and Baron.
Yeah, nice.
Look, this guy, Doctor.
Can someone chase this guy?
I'm basically.
There's the FlyQuest families again popping off there. They are excited as we go back to live. The curtain's going to get called here by Masu, softening up B-Voy as they push in with this Baron buff. Now up nearly 5,000 gold. They're on Soul Point with the Baron buff. FlyQuest taking full control off of that failed engage.
And I really like the comms because this is something that was brought up with this young FlyQuest team a lot. How, especially at the beginning of the year,
Daejeon's gonna look, Paranoia's pop, Masu flashes away from him, but Contract's into the back line. Cryogen trying to peel for him, they gotta get back and help their AD carry, and they do just that. Griffin goes on a killing spree, as Zeus is gonna be pushed back as well. Gatgos is low, but Fudge can't find his way in just yet. He has no explosive cask, has his flash, but won't be able to find anything. They go for the engage, but a quick flash from Masu means 1 kill to FlyQuest, and nothing there for Shopify.
Yeah, they've got a lot of power now, and if the engage is not going to make the full commitment all the way to the back there, Contracts just goes down, so FlyQuest pretty happy with the reset. Out of this, you have to think it's going to be a pretty smooth setup for Dragon Soul for them. They can 4-1 split push. They are going to go for the pick onto Fudge.
Grand Starfall comes in, everyone is there. Fudge fully surrounded again, getting picked off in that side lane could be costly. The objective bounties have spawned, but they have a couple minions here. Baron buffed up, and FlyQuest going to be able to push down, and you have to think they can take this tier 2 no problem.
Sure, take all the extra money, further fund everything so that they're going to be able to dominate the Dragon Soul fight in just 2 minutes. Plenty of time left on this Baron too. They've got 25 seconds. That's another full wave they can push with. If they want to keep up the pressure here, they're going to try. They still have Victor walking over from mid lane, but good amount of damage here. More money off this turret plate.
Yeah, and Zinni has no flash, so a lot less scary. Masu did use his barrier on a tower shot, so he will be missing that summoner and still has no flash from that mid lane engage. Contracts now has the Paranoia back up and available, has come back from base as the curtains are going to get called. Seos put low here and does have to retreat. B-Boy doing his best to try to clear out these waves. Zinni on the side does find a nice tippers over on the quad, but it doesn't get that much damage done. The Paranoia is going to get popped, and into the backline goes Contract, but that is a one-way trip. Griffin taking up the damage on the other side, and Zinni's going to be the target now. Quad looking for him. Griffin's going to go unstoppable as he finishes him off. Seo's going to look for the pop blossom. Goes into the stasis. Gakkos on the side stuns up Fudge as they knock down Seos. Fudge is next to fall. It's B-Boy versus the world now. That's a triple kill over and 4 total kills there for FlyQuest. Griffin flashes forward. B-Boy, great shift back. Will keep him alive, but will do nothing to defend the Nexus for now. Low health bars there. B-Boy gonna look with the True Shot Barrage. It's blocked up there with the Aegis Assault by Griffin. Cryogen tries to predict with the binding. Can't find him. The towers have fallen. B-Boy trying to make something happen. Looking for a miracle. Can't quite find it. FlyQuest are gonna get it done here. 20-8, 30 minutes in. They'll take game 1.
My biggest takeaway for them were the comms during that fight. All the comms were around. Play it slowly, stay calm, don't go too deep for that kill. I love his picture, how he
The
still
fudge factor.
Yeah, he still has his fudge sandwich.
Classic.
Picture here for the intimidation, and you know, the Gragas Anivia matchup there wasn't like the biggest factor in the game overall. I'd say probably the biggest factor was the Annie getting poor positioning a lot of different scenarios before a lot of team fights or getting picked off, you know, for them. And Shopify, they even in some scenarios, after someone got picked off, they still would find a good engage and still were able to salvage some of the fights earlier in the game. So if they do lock in all around the board, they definitely can push us to a third game here. Give us a little more game time.
Seraphine not banned this time around, so Seraphine is going to be up and available, and that feels like it's always just an insta-pick when it is up, especially in a game 2. If you couldn't get it in game 1, you probably want it in game 2.
And Ezreal's already been played, and Bard is already off the table as well for the Caitlyn Bard answer. Maybe there's another Caitlyn answer.
Do you think B-Boy might just take the Ashe? Because I know we've been seeing more teams do that where they try to split the combo. Because some players I'm talking to, I was kind of asking them about this, and they feel like Ashe is the better half of the combo. Some people feel like Seraphine is the better half of the combo, but instead, we are going to get Corki, Nami, which I hate this as an answer. It just loses every time, it feels like, to Ashe Seraphine. It feels like it's worse in the early game, worse in the late game, doesn't track the jungler, has worse engage. It just feels just plain worse.
Yeah. That's why I'm always trying to sell different Caitlyn iterations, because
I'm with you. I'd rather see
I
Caitlyn.
like those ones, but with the Bard was already used, and that's definitely one of the best. Griffin is very happy with this, and I know a lot of teams are, because FlyQuest, I know Griffin is really always happy when every jungler is, obviously, when you have your Ashe Seraphine.
You have the map hacks.
You've got your map hacks, but you also have a crazy team fight, and it allows Griffin loves to play, Nasus and Mundo and these champions that are kind of slow moving and benefit a lot from having a big Seraphine, enchanter on your team, and Ashe to give you initiation and slow people for you and stuff like that. So it enables a lot of jungle picks, so he's probably quite happy for it. But we also have straight up just had LCS coaches say, yeah, these are just some of our best champs. Like I think Spawn, after the first time that Team Liquid was given Ashe, Seraphine, the Yone plus Rumble, combination, was like, oh yeah, I mean, there's not a lot that the enemy can do. Like they just gave us a lot of the best stuff.
I mean, they're kind of playing blind pick on FlyQuest side. It feels like through the first couple. Yeah,
I mean, you get a Rumble, so they could do a Yone comp if they wanted to. They could throw a Jarvan in, and have Jarvan's bans. Can't throw the Jarvan, but you could throw in any other AD jungle anyway to the mix here, and you're still gonna have a very good team fight. On the side of Shopify here, though, I feel like they're going to be the ones under the extra pressure to make burst damage happen. So they have the Aurora here, and it is a flex. You can play it into the Rumble, no problem. Quite good, actually, into the Rumble, or they could rotate it mid if, Zinni does want it. And they're going to ban the Sylas as well. They don't want Sylas stealing some of these, big ults. Fair enough. They've got a lot of really good ones. And maybe that does signal, too, that they're thinking that, Fudge really does want this nice Aurora into Rumble matchup on the top side. Regardless, the engage is so critical when you're playing against Ashe and Seraphine, so they lock the 5.
So I wanted to look up these stats and check them, because I checked them a week or two ago when we were talking about it on the dive. I was talking about this matchup because I felt like Corki Nami always loses. So I just checked the updated stats. Ashe Seraphine against Corki Nami, 79.3% win rate in pro play.
To the Ashe and Seraphine.
To the Ashe and Seraphine.
Yeah,
almost an 80% win rate.
That about checks out.
They also have an average of 265 gold ahead at 15 as well for the Ashe. So it's like you lose early, you lose late. We'll see if Shopify can become the 20%.
Yeah.
That's what they're going for.
Show all those stats, nerd.
Yeah.
Show them.
Everything's 50-50. You win or you lose.
We were talking as well about Griffin's jungle champion pool. Of course, he has played the
little jungle.
The Shen jungle before, and he's going to do it again. Also, for people thinking, oh, does that make you low damage? Shen's got some good damage items that he can build as well, with Titanic and Dusk and Dawn being very effective on him, though Griffin usually goes the really tanky build anyway, and
you have a damage top. You have a damage top laner, so I would be more worried about it. They did do a game, I think, where they played Shen and then like a Sion and stuff like that. Like if you do like Shen, Sion, Jin or something, okay, buddy.
Give me a Titanic, Dusk and Dawn type thing, but yeah, he likes the Protoplasm Harness regardless, because it is a really early item power spike. And you can actually put some pressure out on the Vi. So let's take a look here. Honestly, I still feel the same. Like FlyQuest side is just way better.
Yeah,
nothing later on in this really changed my mind.
No.
My only kind of hope for Shopify is, hey, you can make some bursty plays with Vi and Aurora and like burst someone down, but then they have a Shen ult.
Yeah.
So you're always like, ah!
It's a good thing the other team doesn't have any counter engage, Encore, Rumble ult, Shen ult. That's going to be tough. I mean, hey, you always have the opportunity. They've got a lot of playmaking. You can find those picks, and maybe they can find these isolated plays where they just one-shot someone really quick. And sometimes when you get ahead of a Shen, the Shen pops Shen ult, and your teammates just always die before you come through, and that thing goes on cooldown, and it is a super long cooldown, which can feel really, really bad.
One thing, though, for jungle Shen, you can take Guardian, and you make your shield even bigger. And
boom.
Make sure that they survive until you arrive, buddy.
It's got some AP scaling on there as well. Rush a death cap, you know?
I'm with you.
You could do it.
Hell yeah.
I wouldn't recommend it.
You get your Dusk and Dawn and your Death Cap.
Yeah.
For Shen.
Well, just for the ult.
Oh, yeah.
And then the rest of the time, you're getting beat up by the Raptors because you're not clearing that camp. Well, we'll see what Griffin can get done. He did bring it out once in the LCS already. It was a pretty quiet game. It was in a win, if I do recall. Yeah, it was in a win. But the game wasn't really about him. You know, he was kind of just slowly farming, and the game was kind of naturally won on its own, it does feel like. But that is kind of the nice thing about Shen, is that you are not forced to make proactive plays a lot of the time. You can just kind of power farm, get vision, look for counter ganks, and respond to plays that the Vi is going for, where the Vi, I feel like, especially with the rest of the team comps taken into consideration, has a lot more pressure to do stuff.
Here we go. Talk about pressure onto the Nami.
Well, that's not good for the Corki Nami, and now lethal tempo is stacked, and Masu just stepping forward here. They are getting absolutely cooked at level 1.
Can we get a picture of the FlyQuest families? Let's see how the moms are feeling about that trade, because that is looking pretty good for Cryogen and Masu on the bottom half of the map. Of course, B-Void does have cleanse for later, so you're also like fighting lane phase down the combat summoner, so it makes it even more difficult.
Yeah.
You know, maybe later you're like, oh, thank God I have this cleanse, or else I would have got, you know, CC'd from 100 to 0 by Ash Arrow and Seraphine ulti.
And Shen Taunt and Charm and
yeah.
Cleanse is pretty needed.
It's good, but
you wish you had something else for now.
You wish you could have like 3 summoner spells.
Yeah. Little summoner spell book, you know? But also, that's terrible too.
Can I get 2 keystones then, sir?
Yeah. We'll file that alongside the Death Cap Shen, you know?
Yes.
Brilliant off-meta builds.
Our dark technology.
You just wouldn't get it, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a little bit too
the you
too
wouldn't
advanced.
understand folder that we have.
Yeah.
The I understand.
Exactly.
But maybe not you. Okay, so Fudge getting some deep proxy here. Gonna get some early timers for movement, and he knows Shen clearing down to the bottom side, so he's very free to do this. You can get your recall early, and you can get some earlier time to move up. Oftentimes, I like when top laners will ward the Krugs when they go for that journey, so you can see the exact time for the second clear for enemy jungle, and he leaves a little ward here that doesn't quite see all the way in, but.
And proxying in these situations is always great, but I think it's even better when you're going Doran's Helm instead of Doran's Shield, because that is more of the scaling item. So if you can just kind of avoid the lane, this is the greedier buy compared to the Doran's Shield. So, generally, like, the math that I have seen is that it's kind of just like flat better past level 5, and he's almost level 5. Obviously, it is just a starting item. It's not that big of a deal, but it is cool to see you're going for the more scaling route as far as your starting item, and then you're just avoiding the lane phase.
And they do have contracts coming up here, and the ward does see Griffin, because Griffin was walking down for possible lane hover there, so he passes through. Contracts now passes over 1, and we're going to have a confrontation on top side and bot.
Yeah, B-Boy does have the cleanse, elects not to use it, now has to flash away as in flash Cryogen, trying to put the pressure onto him. Masu and Cryogen both low, Seo's still full health, but B-Boy definitely in some trouble here.
Yeah, so flash from Gakkos, and on the bottom side, flashes from Cryogen and B-Boy with the heavy trading going on.
Masu almost has his barrier again, too, but he might just die to Seos. The shield comes through there from Cryogen. A couple seconds away is Masu's barrier. I think that's why they're trying to fight this so hard. They know they almost have the barrier. He's stepping forward now. It's about to come up. He has the flash. Will he commit it? Doesn't feel like he had the range to finish him off.
So close there, too. If Cryogen's beat drop had just tagged the Corki there, he had just applied the Ash slow. Masu got him with the volley, and so that could have been the setup there. They're really looking for the angle, but B-Boy and Seos do escape. They are definitely down in CS, but they have not been killed in lane just yet, so that's good.
Facts. They're also up a tier.
Better than
and the glowing moat. There's no glowing moat on the Ash.
Holy moat, my favorite item in the whole game. Man, actually, this is crazy, though. Just Berserker Greaves is really nice for Ash. The chase down is already insane, and you stack your lethal tempo, and the extra positioning here from the mobility really helps with this duo to be able to apply the slow and set up the Seraphine for some combo plays. But Contracts goes into the back of Dragon. He's like, all right, this is our timer. We're going to get it. Your Ari is walking from base, so I'm going to be able to take this Dragon very quickly. Vi is very good at doing even early Dragons. No problem with denting blows, and very nice stuff for him. So that Vi will be progressing towards level 6 quite quickly, and maybe we'll be able to find a bursty little play for himself to get a first blood. Griffin, though, does have the opportunity to traverse to the top side. He's pinging on the top side Scuttle Crab. And since he's got Quad moving with him, should be able to use his solo laners to help him in his efforts to get this crab and get the level 6. Fudge, though, he knows the importance here. He's going to bluff, I guess.
Yeah, he is coming over here, but Griffin will be able to secure it. Zinni having a really good laning phase, getting the push there onto Quad, getting the faster level 6, help them to get that Dragon. And, good to point that out because obviously did struggle in that last game. Contracts is still here around. Did he cancel his base or not? Masu going forward here with Cryogen, and they're just going to chase down Seos and B-Boy. Seos probably going to have to flash here. The bubble does land onto Masu, did not flash it, so Seos can hold on to his own flash. Honestly, FlyQuest are lucky that the recall timing there was not canceled because Contracts was recalling right at that moment, maybe a second or two later, and they probably could have gotten killed there. But here is Zinni, his progression from lock-in to spring. He is getting a bit better. It's still not the performance that I think people necessarily expected when he was first going to come over. A lot of people that I had spoken to were very hyped about him. Some coaches that I had talked to were saying he's really being overhyped. They had seen him in scrims and in tryouts and didn't think he was, as hot as people were talking about. But that being said, he still
names. I think we need to
here on the live broadcast, I will be outing my sources unless you PayPal me.
I love it. We've got open extortion.
It's the best time to do it, you know?
Honestly, yeah.
I like my extortion good and honest on a live broadcast, I keep my extortion above board.
You know what you're getting.
Yeah, exactly. And that's extorted.
Zinni, of course, didn't have the best first game. We were talking a lot about the any positioning, so he's definitely looking for a bounce back, just even within this series.
Hey, he's up 11 CS.
There you go.
There's the bounce.
The bounce. He's back, baby, and he's playing Aurora, bouncing all over the place.
Yep.
How fitting. All right, well, honestly, now it's even going to be harder to get the first blood because you have a lot of the counter-engage stuff available too, the Stand United, Griffin's just basically waiting. He's like, Contracts, where's he going to go? I'm just ready
dare you.
with my Guardian Shen ult is going to be the answer. And so it just allows, Masu and Cryogen to continue to play very aggressive. All right, this cannon, let's watch. Yeah, he's going to be able to get it.
Yep.
Trying to create some tension here because we have no kills, and it's just going to be more objective trading. Once again, just send Contracts up to those grubs, take another objective for Shopify, and FlyQuest will just continue on farming.
Soul Lane's doing a good job for Shopify, though, this game, you have to say. Nice little advantages for both of them. Fudge, in this matchup, generally you are expected to be down a little bit on the Cassante into this Rumble. Of course, Rumble now going Deathfire Touch these days. It is no longer First Strike that we had mostly been seeing, though some Rumbles did go Comet. B-Boy going to be pushed back here as Seos has to use the wave just for disengage. As again, FlyQuest pushing forward here, and now Zinni up towards that top side. They are looking for this Rumble. Fudge goes all out, but it's a double taunt, and it's first blood there for Griffin. Quad now coming in. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow not going to connect. They're looking for Contracts. Flash, charm, kill. Quad gets another as Griffin will pull back here and be able to survive. FlyQuest respond beautifully to the Shopify play and get a couple big kills. There's the Encore coming out. Can the Root follow it up? They don't have it just yet. Masu not available to be able to finish that one off. Didn't have the damage quite yet. Used the Crystal Arrow on that top side. Had he saved it for bot, maybe could have got a kill right there.
True. Always focus on your own lane. Quit sending off stuff to other lanes. Except for Griffin.
Unless they pay you.
Yeah. And if they're not paying you, dip into some extortion.
You want a crystal arrow up topside? Yeah. I'll be taking your next 3 waves, buddy.
But we were just talking about, all right, Griffin is just waiting to use this Shen ult. And what better opportunity than them going for a 3-person gank onto Gakkos. The Guardian Shen ult is enough to keep him alive. Gakkos had a good, Rumble ult and then flashing himself to safety there as well. And then that also bought time for Quad to make the roam up to the top side. So It's even better than that. And the FlyQuest coaches are celebrating already. I don't think it's too early, actually.
You thought about it. And we get to hear the thinking live.
Was that handshake? They were like, all right, we're going to pay off the sale. They both agreed right there.
Well
like,
done.
You know what? It was honorable
It was
extortion.
us, yeah. It was us.
Yeah.
They got outed.
Yeah.
Thank
like,
you
know what?
for the PayPal.
They're like, fair is fair.
Fair
We'll
is
do
fair.
it.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, FlyQuest at 1.3K here.
Have we ever caught a handshake from the coaches?
I don't think so.
That was.
I kind of like
they're
that.
like, genius draft.
Well
guys.
done, well done, yeah.
I mean, honestly, we agreed with it. We're like,
Yeah.
man, they blasted them here. They're like celebrating
Man.
10 minutes into the game.
When you first picked the Seraphine, blew my mind.
Wow.
Crazy.
And then Apollo, when Griffin was pleading with you, please, Shen game, please. And you said, all right, fine. If you ult during the first Vi ult.
Well, Fudge going to be ulting now, looking for Gakkos. The Rumble Equalizer does come down. The footwork from Fudge trying to stay alive. The Pathmaker going to get sidestepped, though. And Gakkos has a solo, and now comes the Stand United. Here's the bad news, Contracts. You're going to die as well. It's going to be 2 more on the top side here for FlyQuest.
Handshake was right on time. You know, they knew it.
Shake it again.
Man, that Shen ult is up real quick, buddy.
Yeah.
Right back up and available just when you need
That
it.
glowing moat, nothing you can do about it in the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Save for bot lane this time. Greed rewarded there by FlyQuest as they're going to chase in for B-Boy, force out that flash. And this is just a pummeling in game 2, 5-0, 3,000 gold lead here for FlyQuest as they are running away with this one.
The Guardian has blocked 356 extra damage so far for Griffin. And honestly, Gakkos was getting quite low in some of these exchanges, so nicely done. I mean, FlyQuest now with a 3K gold lead, they truly feel like they have this one in hand. Hex Optics here finished for Mastu on the bottom side off of that kill. Very nice.
B-Boy got greedy, didn't actually go home, and Quad punishes him for it. FlyQuest bot lane was going mid, Quad moves down towards bot, and B-Boy overstays there, does get punished. And that Guardian, like you said the numbers, you know, they don't sound that big, but that can be the difference between you arriving with Stand United or not. Yeah. When you play a lot of Shen, I love Shen, and this champion, it can be so frustrating. The cooldown is so long. When you pop that Stand United, they barely don't survive. So Guardian can make the difference, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think. In the last one, I feel like Gakkos was down to like 150 HP or something like that. So
let's see it.
Yeah, let's take a little look-see here.
Let's count the HP, and if they're wrong, you can extort the observers to cut the replay short.
True. Solve all your problems that way. All my interactions with all humans. Okay, so Fudge getting burned down. Notice he's also going to dash back onto the Rumble ult at the end here and burn down to Gakkos. And then as soon as the Vi ult is in there, boom, that is a big old shield. And then he has a scrap shield too.
That's about 150 health.
Yeah.
But the shield's expired.
Exactly.
Oh, that's Shen ult?
We can change the story.
My bad. Sorry.
I mean, that's what we were talking about with the pretty early Shen ult. Another reason for rushing the Protoplasm Harness. Very cheap, and you get your 20 ability haste very quickly into the game.
Yep, very effective there as the gold difference at 14, you know, that's looking a bit tough there for Fudge. Hasn't had the best laning phases, you know, and it is one of these things where at least Gakkos is something that he's standing out on, you know, not dying isolated. He is playing well with the team. But on carries, he has just been a different beast. You know, he's able to just make so much action happen again here on the carry, looking really good for the team. Still undefeated this whole split on carries, and now looking for Zinni. Does overheat. Zinni going to go between worlds, though. Gakkos may have overstepped, but again, in comes the Stand United. Zinni put incredibly low. Contracts there, though, to peel. Zinni has to flash out. Gakkos can't really back up Griffin. But maybe some more FlyQuest members will be able to move up. Griffin winning out on this fight. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow coming through. They pushes him back right into the taunt as he sidestepped one way, gets caught the other. Cryogen going to be looking for him. Zinni going to get spotted over the wall on the recall. They're pushing in, but Zinni will TP back and cover Contracts.
Okay, a lot of resources used on the top side. Still seeing a rotation over. Look at the little hover. I guess they're not actually going to continue the move, and just going to be a disengage for now. Dragons are evened up.
Fudge looking for a quad there. Can't find him with Pathmaker. Will be able to survive, but quad will be sent back to base. Has the teleport available, so not too big of a deal.
Shopify. What can we do? I mean, there is a Herald up, so...
Oh, Masu's behind B-Boy. The flanking Ash, the wave gonna come out. Maybe bit off a little bit more than they can chew. Masu's gonna have to flash. The heal comes out as well. So that's a play going bad for them. And now Contracts is here. He's gonna look with the cease and desist. In comes Zinni, the Encore there to try to peel a bit, but both the FlyQuest bot laners do fall. Good play from Shopify.
There you go. Create some action. Masu here walking real aggressively into lane, and Shopify do take advantage. Shen ult is not back up for this one, and they're able to actually convert on some kills, get some money back for themselves. They did commit a lot of people, though, so quad unattended at the top side, gets a little bit of alone time. Still, though, they chop down on the lead a little bit.
And that brings B-Boy right back to even with Masu, so that is pretty nice, getting the Corki into a good position. Going to be important this game for sure, as someone's going to have to do some sustained DPS, and it really is just kind of B-Boy who that is going to be up to. And if Shopify could find that right fight, you know, it is definitely possible. There's lots of squishy members here for Zinni and Contracts to potentially burst down, but of course, it is not going to be easy with all the answers that FlyQuest have for the counter engage and to really stop so many of these picks that they have been looking for.
Yeah, definitely going to have to tread lightly, choose your moments very cautiously here. Right now, though, lane assignments are just fine for them. Kanik Rooker in here for Fudge, plus the Merc Treads, because obviously double AP solo laners, so Cassante is giga stacked on magic resistance for this stage of the game. At the moment, trying to trade into the Rumble here in front of Power. Still kind of getting burned down.
B-Boy, nice little chunk there onto Masu, getting healed back up by Seos as well, as they're going to try to look for more. FlyQuest, though, looking to start up this Herald. Zinni going to get spotted in that pixel brushing. Contracts was spotted as well as he walked by that river entrance. Shopify do have mid-prio, though, so that's going to push the Shen out the back of the pit.
Yeah, Masu's got to be very careful with his positioning after not having flash from the previous mid play, so he's got to wrap all the way back around the tower, and Shopify move in, looking to convert here on the objective, but FlyQuest, they're flanking. Ooh. Quad here from the top.
The Enchanted Crystal Arrow comes out, that goes wide, and Masu is so incredibly low. B-Boy has just been peppering with rockets. Zinni, though, getting caught potentially. Gakkos on the other side, cooking up a lot of members. A good equalizer down onto B-Boy as Gakkos gets pulled across the world here. Quad looking, does get one kill as they're able to knock down the Vi. The Rumble has fallen as well. Zinni trying to retreat on the side. He's battling against Masu. Might have the damage, doesn't quite. Fudge, though, looking for more. The charm gonna land onto B-Boy. It gets immediately cleansed, and Quad dies for his sins. The two-man charm there does come through off of the taunt from Griffin, but Griffin has no taunt. He has no way out. You have to think he's going to get knocked down, and Masu doesn't have the health to help him. FlyQuest do lose the fight at the end of the day, just barely. It's a 3-for-2 for Shopify.
They scrap it out, and they want more. Oh, B-Boy no Valk, but he should be fine.
Be able to survive. That was a tough fight for FlyQuest. Masu was just so low before it really even broke out. He was down to, what, 30% health from B-Boy as he walks in.
Yeah, let's take a look at this again, because they make the little flank here, but Zinni's able to get out for now, jumps away, Fudge goes in, gives him the shield. Here, though, the ult in, and the Seraphine ult just barely shorts and is not able to bounce off of his head, so the Seraphine ult doesn't get value. Even with that, they kill off Contracts. You see Masu here on the right side, barely living to your points, and still kind of has to get out of the fight. Then the re-engage from Quad is just a little bit too much. They still have a very beefy front line there with Fudge, and plenty of burst damage from the Corki just pops him.
Yeah, I feel like had Masu not been so low at the start of the fight, you know, he could have played a lot more aggressively, but because he started the fight at about 30% HP, it was very difficult for him to ever enter, and they just didn't really have the consistent damage to deal with those frontliners. We're back to live, and they're engaging in onto Cryogen. Contract's gonna get stunned up. The wave coming across multiple members as FlyQuest are getting wiped here. It's a double already there for B-Boy. Make it a triple on the Corki as 3 FlyQuest members just get deleted. Quad is hanging around here. He's going to go in over the wall. They're looking with the equalizer as well, trying to take out Zeus, but he just flashes out, pops his heel, survives. They get the dragon, and maybe they're going to head for Baron too.
Yeah, definitely. Get over there. Make this comeback real. I mean, they could circle around and look for tower plates as well, B-Boy.
The charm landing, and Quad going to have to flash out away from that rocket as B-Boy almost had him.
Okay, death timers are really low still. Again, a little overhypey, but I will say, maybe the handshake was too early.
Preemptive handshake.
You know what? Maybe it was. Look at the approach. Contracts in here with the Q flash, and then he ults through everybody. So Masu, look at Masu just got locked up, burst out. There was 0 auto attacks out of that Ashe with a really good engage from Shopify. Contracts makes the big initiation. The team follows up instantly. And they open up the objective for themselves. Really good engage from them. Meanwhile, afterwards, FlyQuest trying to salvage the play a little bit. Zeus does flash away from the Rumble ultimate here after the engage from Quad. And okay, yeah, some fist bumps on the or pumps on the other side here for Shopify coaches. They're not celebrating too early, but they are happy with the result.
The meta's getting fleshed out. It's handshakes versus fist pumps. You know,
be a little bit more conservative. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, Masu just lost half his health instantly there. And that was through the Seraphine Shield as B-Boy is well and truly fed. Now has the Serpent's Fang done to boot, so full item up on where Masu is at this point of the game. And I mean, that engage was just so sick from Contracts. The Q flash, and then the ult through 3 people, so triple knockup. Then Zeus has a wave over the top that also knocks up 3 members. So beautifully done there by Shopify, utilizing that playmaking. They are not done with this game just yet, but they are in a way better position. And oh my God.
That is a big one right there. A very big one.
Very big one.
And I have to say, Serpent's Fang versus this team is the best buy. Like, Shen shields are huge. You even have Scrap Shield on the Rumble, and not to mention the lane that you're playing against, the Seraphine here. So, very, very good and efficient cheap buy.
Fudge gonna go all out onto Gakkos. Gakkos trying to sidestep as much as can. He does it, sidestep that 1Q3. Not able to sidestep there though, and the Stand United comes through. Fudge is incredibly low. Griffin's looking. The Crystal Arrow does connect. The taunt comes in, but it doesn't matter because B-Boy has arrived first. The cavalry comes in from Shopify, and they're the ones again getting a kill.
Oh, even with the Shen shield going down, they try and regauge, get him into position, but nicely done. Contracts collapses. They get the kill. Shopify are rallying here to push us to a game 3, and they're making it look really good. B-Boy is incredibly rich. He hasn't even spent since the last time we were talking about him. Now on top of that, gets solo tower gold down here. Of course, it's just the rest of turret plates. Solo towers are not what they used to be on the previous season where all the gold was in, the end of killing a tower, but still extra gold and quite nice.
It is very nice indeed. And that is back-to-back games now where B-Boy was kind of the hope for Shopify. He was Giga-fed 6-0 on the Ezreal. Now he's 7-1 on the Corki. He's having a couple of monster games here, and we'll see if they can seal the deal on this one, as it looks like he's got that zeal off the back of those fights. He has the Gluttonous Greaves in as well, so going to be stacking that up. The wave comes out on the Cryogen, forcing the flash as B-Boy is just taking every fight he can find. This guy is ridiculously strong, and Contracts at one point was down 2 levels to Griffin. He is now fully caught up. They are pushing the side lanes. They're in a great spot here. Quad trying to split push and get something back, but Masu and Cryogen have been completely taken out of this game.
All right, the split push continues. Bottom side tower does go down, but same thing's gonna be attempted to answer here on the top side. Gakkos will slip in, and the rest of the team for Shopify are recalling, but Zinni does not care. He's going to try and finish it before Griffin gets here, and even with him on the ward, no problem. So they do answer that tower as well. 50 seconds left on the next dragon. So nobody blow your flashes anytime soon. Good dodge on the Ashe arrow here for Zinni. He attracts a lot of attention, and Shopify are going to have an open route here. Big poke damage onto Masu, and the dragon setup is going to be very easy for Shopify. I think FlyQuest have maybe even already made the call, hey, it's fine, just keep split pushing, and maybe we just counter jungle top side a little bit instead. It's very dangerous for them to go over to the dragon, so they're going to try and make a top side play instead.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to try to look for a dive. I mean, B-Boy, one big one with the Mandate and the Nami E was enough, and now Zinni going to be in some trouble. Goes across the Veil here, but he has been burned incredibly well, and I don't think he's going to get out of this. Goes across the Veil, but nowhere to go after that. Tries to go between worlds and get out, but he was already down to 10% HP, so Gatkos is able to claim the solo kill. They take the tower. They do lose their tier 2 in mid lane in trade for that, but it's a nice kill, and they're actually just going to start the Baron here. They're TPing into this. Contract's on the other side of the map trying to do the Dragon, but look at that poke already coming out from B-Boy. They're going to have to turn on to him. He has Cryogen low already. Fudge now has arrived with the teleport. Quad is looking for the flank on the side. It's going to be up to Quad. He goes in. He's going to look for the charm. He flashes forward. He charms the Nami. He's going to try to burst him down. The Stand United comes through, but the bubble was great. They're focusing down Fudge. He's slowly dying. Griffin taunts him, but Contracts has arrived. He's going to the back line. He's looking for Masu. Masu flashes out. Contracts trying to finish him off. Fudge flashes over the wall. Griffin taunts the safety. Gatkos is incredibly low. FlyQuest trying to make it happen. The equalizer comes back up. Fudge is burning, barely survives with the footwork there. Seos getting a heal down on him as well. And now Zinni is back. He finds Quad. Flashes away there from what he thought was a charm, but the charm I think is still available. Goes across the Veil, and it's just the reset after reset. Popping off here in the back line, takes down multiple members. It's just Griffin now. He is running for it, but he's got nowhere to go. That is going to be all the kills. That is going to be the Baron as well, eventually going to Shopify.
Shopify blow this game wide open. They know, they make the call. All right, yeah, fine, they can do Baron. Look how slow they're doing the Baron. B-Boy can poke them very heavily, and he vouchs, and just barely the angle on that charm doesn't tag B-Boy, and it just goes through to hit Seos instead, and Quad chunks so low, he's kind of on the back of the fight now. And then you see, once Contracts does get here after taking the Dragon, he goes for the engage onto Masu, but Masu does have flash, so he can live and kite the rest of the way. They still get the extra push, though, and with the teleport back from Zinni, they know they can fit. Oh my goodness, that Mikhail's and the extra shield there. Fudge was on the brink of death, barely lived, and now it's their Baron to take.
Griffin is back up. He almost has the Stand United. Maybe they could look for a long chase here. But the Baron is gone, and Shen just now about to get that Stand United. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow going to go wide again. Masu unable to find Zinni, who just hops to the side there, easily dodges it. And now it is a 6,000 gold lead, and it is Soul on the table in 3 minutes here for Shopify. They are dominating this one, thanks largely to B-Boy, who is now working on that IE. He is ridiculously strong.
It is time we revisit your Corki Nami stats versus Ash and Seraphine.
They are the 20%.
They are the 20%. They're going to show the stats nerds right now. B-Boy Corki is worth. He is built diff. Infinity Edge is going to be completed soon, so.
Just know, if they lose, it is your fault. But that was a crazy jinx. No extortion necessary.
True.
We'll see. But
I find humor in caster curses, though, you know, so.
They're close to closing this one out, and it looks like they should do it. B-Boy is just having a monster game. I want to see the damage done. I mean, I'm going to see if I can actually bring it up, because it has been crazy to see how much damage he is dealing. And I mean, he's got to be high at the top of the tables there. Fudge, they're going to look for him here. They're committing to this Cassante. It's going to take a long time to knock him down. He is charmed up. He is hit again by the Encore, but he's still at half health. And now B-Boy is arriving. Contracts into the back line. They're looking for Masu. Masu has got to run. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow comes out. The Stand United to taunt. Contracts is the one to fall. But it is Zinni looking for Masu. Masu with a great sidestep. Pops the barrier, trying to survive. It's a double kill, though, for B-Boy. It's a triple kill now for B-Boy. It's a quadra kill now for B-Boy. But Fudge knocks him away. He may have just denied his teammate the penta there as he goes all out, pushes Quad to the blast cone. I think Fudge there working for the other side, denies the penta to his Corki. It might have been enough.
Quad is going to live another day. Corki just going to focus on winning the game. Go push mid lane instead. Get your recall off with the Baron. Shopify, though, feeling very, very good about putting the nail in FlyQuest coffin here for game number 2. This is very exciting to push us, if they can finish and push us to the next game. I mean, the B-Boy here, I got you with the damage stats here, though. B-Boy at the very top, 41.6K.
Holy, that's double the Ash.
I didn't know
Shadow
flash.
flash.
It's fine, we should do infight.
I'm okay.
Looking.
Careful rumble.
Angle really good. I'm coming.
Yeah, we win.
Yeah, we can't lose.
Ash no flash. Ash 1 HP.
Ari here. I'm dead. Ari Noir. Ash no flash.
Penta.
No flash, Ari.
Penta.
No flash, Ari.
That's it.
Go mid.
Push mid, B-boy.
Those are restrained teammates. I would have been flaming him.
Why did you ult him away from me? Penta.
Almost
I mean,
10K in a team fight? That is crazy.
I mean, I even started. I was like, I want to see a Penta. All right, FlyQuest though.
That was a cool Penta, too. That wasn't one of those like last hit, auto attack one time Pentas.
Yeah, you can't say he's cleaning up.
He did 10,000 damage.
We just saw the damage down there. He's not cleaning up anything.
Brother did 10K in one fight. That is a Penta deserved as Quad on a long flank here. The rest of Shopify just trying to zone FlyQuest away. Quad again, gonna look for this hero play here. When can they find it? B-Boy's gonna get tagged here. He does have the cleanse, but he gets charmed up. There's the equalizer, there's the encore. B-Boy barely surviving. They finish him off now. It's gonna be up to Cryogen, to Gat goes to the rest of the team to try to get something done, but they don't have the damage. They committed everything to kill off B-Boy, and it cost them so much more. The Corki did fall, but they lose 4. They're about to lose 5 as Griffin gonna get chased down and killed. FlyQuest have lost this game. Shopify take it. They finally knocked down the Corki, but it just does not matter. Zinni and the rest of the team, the counter engage was more than good enough, and they're going to be able to walk this one in.
Shopify, count it 1 for the Rebellion.
Nicely done. Shopify going to be able to tie us up here 1-1. An incredible Corki game from B-Boy, even falling behind early, 15-2-5, 31 minutes on the clock. Masu and Cryogen respawn, but it's not going to matter. They just got to focus the Nexus. They do just that. They finish off the game. We're heading to game 3. Bad draft. Terrible draft. What were they thinking?
Stupid dumb.
Yep, I would agree. Great analysis, Kobe. Yeah, I mean, it was obviously a great early game. I'm sure that they think that they would be able to win that had they got it back and, you know, get to kind of redo, but that's League. Yeah. Make a couple big plays, you get so strong, and B-Boy has had an amazing series. Even in a loss, he was dominating on the Ezreal. I feel like if he has another good game here, he could be player of the week. I feel like he's, you know, really looking strong.
We can use our reach to sway
to, yeah, exactly.
I'm also with you. I was like, I'm putting my early half vote in.
Half vote?
Half vote. We gotta see, because he could
he
could drop a stinker right now.
And then we'll take that back.
Take that half vote.
Take that back. Yeah. Give my half vote.
Honestly, though, contracts also a lot of really good engages for Shopify. So very well capable of taking a series for themselves, which, given that this is the first game that they have won this year, would also be the first series.
That would be they first game 3. They won 2-0 against Dig.
Oh, right.
Yeah, they won 2-0 against Dig, but every other series they lost 0-2, 0-2,
Wait,
0-2.
Yeah, that was the opening blasting too.
Yep. But in lock-in they won 0 games, and then they beat Dig, and then they lost 3 series in a row 0-2. So they had never actually gone to a game 3. They've never had a close series. Until now.
I love Caitlyn lanes right now. I feel like they're so good. All right, so doesn't have the the Bard pairing, but they're starting out with a very early Caitlyn. You can do any kind of like binding combos.
Well, Caitlyn Lux.
The Lux or the it doesn't happen a
People
lot
don't really
in
play
pro
Borg.
play.
Yeah. That binding is slow.
That binding is very slow, and
the ultimate is just useless. You're too squishy.
She's also not very good at laning, so. This is better partners.
Morgana just sucks, let's be honest. It is the unfortunate reality.
He just said it.
I did say it.
Okay, well.
Yeah. What
am
I supposed to rush a Zhonya so I can use my ultimate? That ain't happening.
You need to play in the ARAM Mayhem so you can get the augment that lets you move around with Zhonya's too.
And a snowball.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, the super giant one.
Yeah.
Also, like,
snowball augments are pretty OP. Morgana just needs snowball. We solved it.
Just need like a couple of ARAM Mayhem augments and it would be great.
That would be funny if that was the new strategy for balance. If your champion's trash enough, you just get an augment at the beginning of the game.
They don't just give you buffs,
Yeah.
Plus 5 AD, that's boring.
No. You got a random augment at the beginning of the game.
Hell yeah.
Better hope you get a prismatic. That could be some free LP.
And everybody loves a little random chance. Everybody's a little gambler in them.
Especially the opponents. Yeah. When it goes against them, they love that.
Love. Okay, so tracking right back to the game here, we've got Jace versus Sion. Some poke damage into the big old tank here. I usually like the team fight value of the Scion, but if you're good enough on the Jace to get enough value, then sometimes like you can just get such a big lead in side lanes and really make it difficult for your opponents.
Also worth noting, that's the first time this split that GeckLess has lost on carry. Lost on the Rumble. He had been undefeated, so that was the first time for a Game 3 for Shopify, and I just remembered.
Use the FlyQuest mom strategy, blame teammates.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
It's not my son's fault.
But there's multiple moms, so then the strategy starts to fall off the rails.
Yeah,
because, you know, Masu's mom wants to blame someone else, but then Gaku's mom maybe wants to blame Masu, and then, you know, it's going to be chaos up there.
It's okay, just listen to your own mom.
Yeah. Mom does know best. My mom specifically, not your mom, to be clear.
Wait a second.
You're like, wait, that's not true. Wait a second. I can't say true to that.
Hey!
Morgana. They don't agree with us.
It's a real champion right here, Dale.
They don't think Morgana sucks.
Maybe they heard the talk of augments.
Yeah, maybe they thought
like, did they put that in the game? Hold on.
Hey, that could be worth a pick. Let's see if Lux is going to get banned out as well then. Because Bard, as you said, obviously, you know, is a common pairing with Caitlyn in Pro, but obviously Bard has been fearless out of there. And we'll see what the other pairings are going to be. Of course, you can just play it with whatever. You can play like, you know, Alistar or Nautilus or whatever. But generally speaking, you want to play lane dominant stuff where you can push, you can farm plates, and that's usually where Caitlyn's
I like stuff that can also, you know, poke with Caitlyn, or stuff that can set up her traps really well. Because you can go for combo kills like that and get some good Caitlyn combos. So, I mean, in the past, you've had stuff even like Thresh if you're really reaching out there, but don't think it's in the best spot right now. So we'll see. Maybe
Elise support is more what they're worried about instead of Lux.
Caitlyn Elise is very that is like the the Elk on special combo there. That is very much worth a ban.
And Nautilus, to be fair, Nautilus obviously it's really annoying playing into Morgana because depth charge is so easy to respond to with Black Shield. So maybe that's why they were more worried about the Morgana than the Lux. And it is going to be Alistar, one of the other combos I mentioned. It's much less about the lane. Obviously, you can headbutt Pulve into a trap, but you don't necessarily have the guaranteed push. You don't necessarily have that poke. Going to be curious to see what AD carry Masu does go towards. A lot of the usual suspects have already been taken out, and you have the Nautilus pairing, so you're thinking about potentially a kill lane, maybe like a Kaisa or something, would be kind of what is making sense to me. But Smolder is very strong this patch, and I think Deathfire Touch Smolder is really strong. So the interactions with Black Cleaver are super powerful, and if you want to play alongside the Jace and you're going physical heavy, that could be pretty nice. Yeah, and you're playing into a Scion and an Alistar frontline here, and a Xin. So you do need some mobility for yourself as well. Stacks on stacks. And it is nice too. You get you get your poke play style too once you get your rapid fire and some range there. Are you a fan of the kind of new era builds though? Because obviously there is the standard like crit Smolder build, but I've been seeing a lot more of like Essence Reaver into Black Cleaver into Shojin, and then just like Endless Hunger or like defensive style builds, and they play it more of like a caster style build with Deathfire Touch. And 1 Q with Deathfire Touch, Black Cleaver, is 5 stacks of Deathfire Touch, and then once you get 125, you can start like AoEing onto it on people. So it's kind of a different playstyle, but I do think it's quite strong on the new patch. So I'm going to be interested to see if he does that or if it's just standard fleet crit. I think it is also quite strong when you're playing against something like Akali, and you need a little extra HP. You know, a lot of these items, a little bit of extra HP could mean now you're only overkilled by like 50 instead of 4,000. So it's. I was gonna say the positive side. Maybe you have a couple extra HP, you live, but you know. So the Akali E is Veigar ult, so it's hard to live if that hits. It depends if you are already reverting to the strategy of blaming your teammate for why is this Akali so fed. I was just getting on that early, you know. Yeah, I was listening to the moms. Freaky, this fed Akali. Okay, so. This one going to be very interesting here. We've got a Smolder. In addition to the Hui and Jace, gives you lots of poke, lots of range on the side of FlyQuest. But the other team has Scion and Alistar, and those like with the ultimates, you can just get your engage, hard engage. If you can like actually get a good timing on it, you can try and crush these poke comps. That being said, there is a bunch of range on FlyQuest, so it like puts pressure on Shopify to make their moves and make them
without hesitation.
And there's some pretty good CC to actually answer a Kali. I always find it, scary when I'm playing a champion like a Kali. You try to go into the shroud, but you can get feared out of that by Hui Fear. Obviously, death charge and stuff is going to follow you through, and then you see the shadows, so you can hit the Hui Fear right out of that. Some pretty powerful CC there. And it is 4 melee champions versus Smolder and Hui, who have a lot of AoE. That is a lot of damage later on into the game if you're all stacking up for that. But it is a lot of champions to create space for Bvoy, who has been incredible so far in this series, so can definitely make a lot of sense there. And Masu is going to be playing Deathfire Touch, so Quad and Masu both playing Deathfire Touch. It is, I think, the better rune in a lot of cases. If you were playing against like Caitlyn Lux, maybe you'd still have to just go Fleet. In some of those bad lanes, I think you still do. But Deathfire Touch, especially against 4 champions, when you're AoEing in these team fights, if you're not just getting one shot, you're going to get crazy value.
Yeah, definitely a good new rune that they have implemented. Far less Storm Raider Surge. I mean, that one was basically intended as a nerf to Phase Rush anyway, so intended to be a bit weaker. But bottom side, the burning continues. The Deathfire burns continue on these trades. Caitlyn getting the extra push here, just ever so slightly, but the brush control to the side of FlyQuest.
Yeah, and a couple of those Piltover Peacemakers in a row. That is 3 in a row that have hit Masu now. So Bvoy on point with those. Masu has not yet been able to sidestep them, and they, of course, are going to lose the race to level 2, and they're pretty far forward. It's going to be a flash in, and they're going to try to zone out Cryogen with the traps, but he's able to step between them. And at the end of the day, he doesn't even have to use anything. So it is the flash off of Seos, and he is not playing Hex Flash. So. Yeah. There is a pretty big cost there.
Yeah, definitely not the combo you're looking for exactly on the bottom side. But interesting thing is going to be that junglers are pathing to opposite sides as well. So the timing of it, they get their push in, and Seos has time to go ward and try and find the Jarvan. He goes for the option of putting the ward really deep up the river. So it's interesting because so many junglers have got to the point where they know and they expect the cutoff of the Phalites, and you're going to try and say it just up to the top side of it. But then if you put the ward organically further up the river.
Seos coming in mid here. They expect him to base. Good fear from Quad. Will keep himself safe.
Then you can see some of the junglers that are like saying just out of range of those instead. And so Seos here, he opts for the deeper up the river organic wards, and then with his body he also gets full vision. So everything's going to be known for the exact timings here, but it's not too exciting anyway. Just trade of the crabs. Wave pushing toward them as well, so you drop 1 melee. That's about it for Shopify here to go down, just out of range.
Yep, not bad whatsoever. Bvoy takes the ever so popular quick cull recall these days. If you can just crash those early waves, base, grab a cull, run right back with home guards, and the wave is not going to crash before you arrive back. So of course Masu looks like he's very far ahead, but there's a ton of minions there for Bvoy to farm, as Quad and Zinni have now both TP'd back. And thanks to that little bit of help from Seos, Zinni was able to get a nicer recall off of that. Was able to get a lot more of the minions before he had to go back to base. Quad had been bullying him pretty effectively.
Yeah. And if we took a look at the hover here, Contracts has time before Krugs. Just spend it hovering just in case. There's fairly low chance that anything happens, but in case Alice was fishing for a hook or something, then he would be around to do it before he goes into his second clear. Meanwhile, top lane going pretty well for Mr. Gatgos in his Jace vs. Sion efforts in the early stages.
And Quad has been doing really well into Zinni. I mean, Zinni, of course, you are expected to lose, in these range versus melee matchups early, but Quad, even with the gank that he tanked, does have Zinni down low again, and Zinni has already used his potion, so if he gets hit by another couple spells, he might have to take a poor recall. And this time, Cryogen is covering, as they know the Quad is going to be a little bit exposed pushing this in.
Zinni, though, pretty good focus on CS. And as long as it doesn't die, and he can get his reset to buy off before he gets before he uses his ult and has the big burst damage,
Nice bit of poke there from Gakkos and lets himself step forward to be able to crack the first play here. Fudge going to take his first recall of the game. Is playing Comet tech, so this is old tech. You don't really see it as much these days. We see a lot more Spellbook, or sometimes people just default even to Grasp. But Comet was all about the E-poke back in the day. People used to do this a lot in these melee matchups versus range for Scion. So a little bit of a throwback, and of course the increased damage on Comet based on the range from which it hits is in this new season, and that's something that can be pretty easily applied with Scion because the E slows and kind of hit confirms the Comet.
Meanwhile, little hover on the bottom side back the other way. Griffin, before he's going to go into his Gromp as well. Control wards you see all the way down the river on red side, but Contracts is top side.
Oh, and no vision. Gakkos' ward has been turned off, and Gakkos is pushed pretty far up.
And Fudge has ult too.
Yeah, this could be scary. They're going to look here. Scion ultimate coming forward. Gakkos, nice sidestep, and it's going to be able to go to the skies. Flashes back over the top. Is going to get knocked up here by Contracts and Fudge, but honestly, very well handled from a difficult spot.
Good moves there. Dodging out on the ultimate, going for the big jump. Meanwhile, Zinni is going to take a decent amount of damage again. But again, non-lethal damage still.
Oh, look at that hook. B-Boy in some trouble here. Masu pops the barrier to be able to absorb that headshot that was coming in here. And B-Boy may be having to go back to base, so Masu and Cryogen off of that play. They have bot side Prio, they have Griffin down there taking the Dragon. They're going to be able to get overplayed as well.
Exactly. He's worried about, okay, where is Jarvan right now? They get the alert from the Dragon being taken as his recall is going off, and it's going to be lost pressure for them. Dragon number 1 for FlyQuest going really nicely. Honestly, Masu is stacking really well too in addition to having this pressure, so FlyQuest definitely quite happy with the state, honestly, of all of the lanes, with Fudge not being able to you know, make good with the gank from Contracts and you know, truly get a kill on the Gakkos. Maybe there's an opportunity now that he doesn't have Flash, but don't see it really unless Contracts is going to make another you know, point of actually sacrificing something on bottom side in order to go top again.
And Gakkos is going to recall after this wave anyway, so then the timing might not be there. So it might not be likely that they actually find the window. And of course, Fudge does not have ult or TP, so Gakkos decides to cancel the base, and he's going to be able to shove this wave in, take his recall, and should be feeling pretty comfortable about his position in this game. And we'll find out after Masu completes his expected Essence Reaver rush which style of build he's going to be going for. Is it that more modern era kind of caster style build, or is it just the standard crit style that we have been seeing a lot? Seos here is level 6 and was trying to threaten a little bit of a wraparound as Zinni and Contracts are in the area. 4 members strong from Shopify on the bottom side. Quad has yet to move here. Cryogen is level 5 as well, as B-Boy's going to get a free headshot onto Masu there. So it's time to just give up that blue and take the small win of Quad continuing to push mid.
Yeah, let's see. Can he delay Zinni's return to the minions? Not really.
Ooh, Quad might be face-checking Contracts here. He's moving down. Contracts doesn't know if someone is behind him. Contracts, though, is in the back of the pit now, and he's either going to have to turn and fight or something. There's the flash in. The Spiraling Despair does come out. Contracts blocks that. Seos going in, has the ulti popped early. Quad has no flash. Mob comes to life. It's going to be first blood going to Cryogen as Seos was really deep in there. Zinni did not want to commit, and neither did B-Boy, and now Zinni running for the hills here. Cryogen does have flash as well as the depth charge. He could look to commit onto Zinni. Zinni trying to sidestep, flashes away, and they decide to just back it up as the teleport comes in from Seos.
Honestly, I love that from Quad so much. He's paying you back with the mid prio that he got off of your blue being stolen. After blue is stolen, okay, fine, but I'm pushing the wave in, so Zinni's going to have to go to the tower. The Akali's going to have to get those CS. We have another little fight over the support.
Depth charge going to be used here. Remember, Seos has no ult. Griffin is there as well. Flag, drag, little bit of damage from Quad. Seos does have the heal. The Cataclysm going to have to be committed, but they do get the kill at the end of the day as Zinni was pushing back, and now Cryogen going to land the hook. The root there to follow it up as well as Quad. Procs the passive, won't be enough to kill, but Cryogen getting active here on the Nautilus.
Yeah, really good responses from FlyQuest after the blue steel play goes off. They end up getting 2 out of it. These Krugs, oh, B-Boy actually even gets the big Krug last hit.
Griffin going to be able to steal away most of the small ones, and of course did not have Smite, so did lose that one. Now looking for the Raptors, looking like should be able to get it probably, but the teleport is coming back in here from Zinni. And Zeus is in the area, but Griffin with his smite should be able to just take this and walk out, and will be able to grab the whole camp for himself.
Very nice stuff there, and that's all said and done. 1.2K the gold lead now for FlyQuest off of those plays, and we're keeping track. 73 stacks for Masu. 10 minutes is quite a nice pace. Of course, when it's double melee supports, always makes it a little bit easier. Get a couple extra stacks here and there when trading, and with the skirmishing going on too, and the collapse. Really, really nice. So there's your Essence Reaver done.
Yep, so Essence Reaver is done. Gakkos is working in towards his Black Cleaver, so with him rushing Black Cleaver, I feel like it's less likely that Masu would do that build. You don't really need to go for 2. Griffin is in the area here as Gakkos is going to be trading heavily and does win out on that trade, putting some pressure onto Fudge as he tries to walk through that decimating smash, but is still clipped for the damage, though not the knock-up. Fudge honestly doing a good job here, trading with Gakkos, you know, even with that grasp. Fudge is winning out in that skirmish, and it means Gakkos is going to have to go back to base as Griffin is clearing down to bot side, and they don't have eyes on contracts until just now.
Yeah, he's got his sweeper on, so he sees that the Fey lights are lit up. He's going to go and grab those first.
Oh, they're going to look for him. Remember, Contracts does have his flash still, so he will be able to use it if he needs it. Cryogen, depth charge back to that wall as Griffin was in the area, but Zinni had first move, so they decided, you know what, we don't want to actually commit to it. B-Boy's coming first, Zinni's coming first. We would have been outnumbered.
All right, so still sitting in Dragon Pit here. They've got the Ocean Dragon pulled with the extra slow. They could collapse for FlyQuest here. Circle around.
Masu is pushing bot. They want to get that moving in the right direction. Seo's going to pop the ghost. Will be spotted on the side. They could look for Seo's. Cryogen going to find him with the hook. Masu and Griffin are hitting him. There's the knockback. Griffin going to get hit into the team, but the Cataclysm comes out. Mom roars to life, and it's hitting across everyone. The Spiraling Despair is out. Contract's in the middle of the whole team. He's going to fall. The Scion will arrive, but it's already a lost team fight, and Masu is just stacking and stacking in this one. They're going to be able to get a couple of kills. 5-0 now for FlyQuest as they dominate that fight.
That is just so insane for FlyQuest. Incredible influx of gold here. And all the teleports being used. Everybody is here. Look at the wraparound. So Griffin, he makes a good reposition here. I think this is critical because after this, you're going to see the Alistar flank around, and Seo's timing on his initiation. Look at the Dragon. They're using all their spells on Dragon still. So Dragon now just goes down, but Zeus is already 50% and popped his ult. And he just headbutt Griffin in. He can ult, EQ, and flash all the way out. And look at the AoE going down. Masu pelting from one side, Quad hitting from the other side. FlyQuest just melt them. It's kind of like you deliver the Jarvan for the Cataclysm without him having to use EQ to get in range to get there.
Oh, my bad. I guess I shouldn't TP.
Yeah, and TP's in, but obviously the fight was already lost before that, and you know, I think it was more about the engage prior. So this is Masu, his normal stack timings versus, you know, this game. So, or excuse me, his first game versus the second game. So these are standard stack timings, and we can kind of check in and compare. He's at 103 right now at 13 minutes. So in that second game, he did hit 125 at 13:33. He is behind that pace, but he is quite a bit ahead of his first Smolder game's pace.
Yeah, and looking pretty good as far as the 5-0 kill counts for their team as well. So team in a very good spot. In this situation, it's also going to be hard for you to blame your teammates if it goes wrong.
That's tough.
Because they're all doing pretty well.
Yeah, that is problematic.
Which is maybe the worst part of this.
That is absolutely devastating news.
I've got to need somebody to blame.
You're like, wait a second, what do I do here? Spiraling Despair going to get used there onto Zinni. Just a little bit of chunk damage, but it is a Ruby Crystal pick up for Masu. It might just be Shojin second. Wouldn't surprise me at all. Very strong item.
Yeah. But yeah, the team overall doing so well for every single lane, and then Griffin as well. So FlyQuest, a lot of positive stuff going on in the final game of the series. So Gecko's actually getting to work here with his Black Cleaver, shredding the armor of Fudge and getting some extra pressure, plus a jungler that goes through a ward. Yeah. So they know that you're here, Griffin.
Griffin doesn't know that they know, but he is a little bit suspicious now. Will back it off as Cryogen up towards that top side. Quad gonna get jumped on, has to flash away from the Shuriken, flipping on the other side. Contracts will push Griffin back. So Zinni in the 1v2 gets the flash off of Quad. Nicely done by him.
Yeah, a lot of threat in the side lanes here. The Akali versus Control Mage moving out to the side. Still have the Nautilus ultimate
round
for play,
two.
though.
He's going to wrap around again, and Zinni is going to get hooked into that Shroud, but yeah, they're just not having the confidence to actually follow up. They're like, we don't have the ult on Quad. We probably can't finish him off.
Yeah, I actually like the vision toggle here from Observer's. Nice little one, trying to show they don't know exactly how far people away are. Yoink!
Griffin going to be able to use the passive auto plus the smite to be able to knock that one down, and they do clear out the vision here and look to start up the Herald. Zinni had gone back to base, and remember, Zinni used his ult in that 1v2, so Zinni will be without the perfect execution, and Fudge also has no ultimate and is down bot side.
Yeah, meanwhile, Cryogen has just been holding his Nautilus ult. You know, didn't waste it in the exchanges up on the top side, so it's a very threatening ulti, even from the level 7 supports down here. Not usually the giant threat, but that thing very, very important for the Herald fights. And they grab the Herald, so FlyQuest can position that one later towards mid lane. They've got Maso here. Love farming in mid lane for Smolders, especially. I was gonna say it. Raptors are up.
Very tempting.
Some junglers will say, "Here, take my extra Raptors for the
and
stacks."
some will report
Some
you.
will say, "Go back to base and buy your ruby crystal and your glowing moat." There, buddy.
Yeah, and you're going to like it too. The Seos and contracts laying a bit of a trap here. And now that Masu is past 125, if you have a big fight breakout and there are 4 melee champs there, you can get so many stacks in a good fight. If you can hit multiple people with your Qs and then hit them all with your W and your ult, you can get an acceleration of 20, 30 stacks in a team fight, no problem. As long as you are in a good position here. And they are clearly trying to start up this Dragon. Good trap line there from B-Boy. FlyQuest have no vision really in the area, and would be a tough approach, but Cryogen now there with Masu. They have pushed in mid. Griffin going to pop the Cataclysm immediately onto B-Boy here. He jumps into the Herald, using it for a Battle Herald. He's going to try to chase after B-Boy. B-Boy flashed out of the back of the pit, so the Caitlyn's not going to be involved as well. Gakkos is here on the teleport looking on the side. Zinni threatening the flank on the other side. The Caitlyn is down towards the bot side. Fudge now going to be able to spot Gakkos. Dragon getting low. It's going to be claimed there by Griffin. Seos looks for the engage. Shopify, though, having to back up as Seos flashes back in, but the rest of the team was just leaving. Zinni getting hit by the depth charge. Masu not threatened at all. Seos has just thrown his life away as Gakkos bought some time on the other side. Zinni's going to have to run. The rest of Shopify just backs off as Seos kind of inexplicably just flashed in. Well, it felt like the whole team was leaving.
Yeah, because Contracts charged in and he tried to go for the smite steal. You know, Griffin still got it, but he had to use a lot of his health and the Xin ultimate, so he's not way.
Masu could be in trouble, but look at the fear from Quad, the spiraling despair, and that is what Zinni feels as he's gonna burn down the Black Fire Torch and the Death Fire Touch. Quad played that one beautifully to keep Masu alive.
There you go, that's a teammate.
Ooh, nice combo, interrupting the depth charge there from Cryogen. Pops the exhaust, B-Boy in the area. There's no reinforcements, buddy. Send a letter home to your mom.
Or just across the audience out here. Just hold up a sign, actually. Help me! I mean, we were just about to talk about great peeling from Quad there, standing next to Masu, and
yeah, why didn't you peel for Cryogen?
Peeling the Akali off, but he's all out of peel. Griffin goes in, he puts down the Herald, and then wants to stick around, use the Herald to escape and kind of delay the start of this Dragon. Then the little wrap around here. So look at the attempt for the smite, and we're going to look at Contracts goes in. He uses a lot of health and his ulti when they go for the steal, and then after that, it's pretty hard for you to continue the fight because you use a lot going for it. So like, boom, goes in, doesn't have much, and then B-Boy, Zinni's up here, B-Boy's down here, so nobody can really follow up.
Yeah.
You know, with the Sion, and then they're hitting into the Jace.
Who has the TP shield? I didn't like that flash forward at all. I thought that was, they could have just maybe just left at that point, but it was always going to be a tough fight. I think Griffin had such a good start, the Cataclysm, and then he kind of starts driving the Herald towards B-Boy, and B-Boy just insta flashes out. As soon as that happened, I feel like you're looking for a 50-50 and then you're leaving, because Caitlyn's never going to be a part of it. But
exactly.
They try to go for more, and FlyQuest now up over 4,000 gold, or just about, as they have 2 dragons to their name here as well. Seos going to get hit by the depth charge, does pop the Unbreakable Will to buy a little bit of time, but Griffin Flag and Drag's out to safety, and every scrap is just more stacks there for Masu, who did in fact go Black Cleaver. So he is playing for that interaction I talked about. Does mean they have double Black Cleaver with both the Jace as well as the Smolder, but it is a really strong interaction. And how many stacks is he at right now? 193. So getting close to that 225. Probably next decent fight they have, he's probably going to hit it.
Yeah, it's not looking too good for Shopify, because when the Smolder's accelerated like that, even though you've got a really beefy front line, your tanks, they're basically, what did Flower say earlier today? They're damage sponges.
Mm-hmm.
And if I was going to tell you you're a tank or you're a sponge, would you like to be the sponge?
No.
Or would you rather be like a real tank? Yeah.
I'd rather be a real tank.
It's not fun just being
Plus,
a sponge.
you don't know what you're soaking up as that sponge.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
You got these smolder boogers
Yeah,
flying out.
Random stuff coming at you. You got to
Not
soak
good.
it up. That's gross.
So,
I like to choose what I consume, you know?
yeah.
I might still consume garbage, but I'm making that choice for myself as Fudge tries to find an angle here. Will not get anything. And Masu going to grab a stack for his trouble on the way out as he crosses that 200 mark here.
Yeah, Quad split pushing up there. He's got his teleport on the Hui, and he's going to get some turret plate money for himself while the stalemate continues. So all going according to plan for FlyQuest here. Side lane's in good condition. Smolder just farming up mid and getting closer and closer to his 225.
Yeah, that is going to make it very, very difficult for them in these fights. But hey, you find the right team fight, you never know. The other thing with Smolder against Alistar, the dot is true damage, you know, past 225, right? So that is something that an Alistar never likes to see when you're so dependent upon your damage reduction from your ult. If you do not pop that thing early, sometimes you're going to burn down. People always used to talk about, you know, Olaf and champions like that. True damage does not care about Alistar ult at all.
No, unfortunately for Seos, it does not. Honestly, too, I think it's pretty hard to approach. Like, our Shopify's gonna send it on this next one. I think maybe you just give it.
Yeah.
You farm more, and you hope that your Caitlyn can get to a good spot. Like, maybe Caitlyn gets like Lord Doms or something, and.
Yeah.
But they're moving over towards it, so maybe they aren't going to drop it. I mean, Sion's walking you down too, so I think they're making a call. We don't even want to give Dragon Soul point over.
Griffin, Flag and Drag's in there. That was pretty aggressive. Contract's trying to get in on him, but Gakko's putting a lot of damage down onto Contracts, and he's going to pop the Crescent Guard. B-Boy here is firing back. Mom comes over the top, but there is Fudge. The charge is going to be blocked there by Griffin, but the damage is massive, and Zinni is in the backline. The depth charge throws it over onto him. Quad and Masu still alive here. They are pushed back, though. They've killed off Griffin, and I think that means they've earned themselves the Dragon.
That was a huge engage, and Shopify gets so much work done. Wait a second. FlyQuest are sticking around. They're teleporting back in. Here comes Jace. I think the Dragon's probably still gone, though.
This seems so risky. Gakkos is going to get found on the side by Seos, and Zinni has that teleport shield to buy quite a bit of time. Masu working on Fudge on the side. His Quad is going to throw down the Smiling Spare onto Seos. Should be okay with the Unbreakable Will. Good sidestep on that little orbital laser coming down. They do challenge, but they are not able to prevent this, as Griffin, you just should not be flagging Dragon in blind with no vision.
Yeah, I love Contracts. He never hesitates. This guy always with the killer instinct. So as soon as he sees the flag and drag, he goes in for the chunk. He goes in for another chunk, and he softens them up. He also groups them up for a huge Scion ultimate. And they do have people stepping in front, but you get the follow-up Q and then into the knockup as well. It's a little bounce house there. So Contracts like kind of creates a lot of these plays with just forcing action. He's like, okay, you EQ'd. I go for a little exchange. We chunk you out a little. I go in. I spend my ult. But you are also all grouping up in the jungle in this small corridor. And Fudge, that we called out, had been walking down the entire map the entire time. Got a really good line for a Scion ult, which set up Seos' follow-up and gets Shopify right back in it.
Yeah, that was a sick flanking ultimate there from Fudge. It hits multiple members, you know, with that unstoppable onslaught, the damage. Griffin tried to flag and drag in to block it. Cryogen flashed in to try to block it, but 3 of them took the damage, and then 3 of them got knocked up.
And follow-up Q, too, so.
And that bought time for Seos to get in there, for Zinni to get in there, and then, you know, the fight is going to be incredibly hard. But even with that, they did just kill off the one player. They did just take down Griffin. And FlyQuest still tied in Dragons, up with that 2,000 gold lead, but have to be a little bit more nervous after that one, thinking back to last game. They had a great start. It did eventually spiral out of control, and once again now, B-Boy is on 3 items. He is up about 1,000 gold, and B-Boy seems to be the consistent hope here for Shopify.
Yeah, and actually, you know, he doesn't need the rest of the Lord Doms because he's got plenty of poke damage he can give out too with his rapid fire. He opted to go for that. So 3 items, and see if he can get some of these rapid fire headshots off on people. And
there's like no armor at all on the other team besides the Locket. The Locket is literally the only armor that they have here. But Masu now has obviously passed that 225. He's up to 270 stacks. And his contract is going to be going in onto Griffin. Sends him backwards as Cryogen goes in. Seos going to be able to pop the unstoppable onslaught. Quad trying to get over here to the team. Seos has gone too far. He's going to burn down. That's a killing spree for Masu. As Zinni was threatening on the side, spotted by Gatghost. Gatghost is going to go hunting for him. And it just feels like Seos is kind of getting a little bit of an itchy trigger finger. He's jumping in. You don't need to try to overforce it in that spot.
Maybe because they didn't even get the trap combo as Quad walks into a trap.
Ooh, that is a bit of a combo there as the Spiraling Spare comes down on Zinni, and Zinni is spotted. I think he was spotted by the tower. He was too close to it in his shroud. He gets taken down. It's a double for Gatghost. They're going to pile in for more. Flashing forward is Gatghost, and on the side, Griffin is looking for contracts. Fudge is going to fall. Masu is on a rampage. The Flag and Dragon does not connect, but it does not matter. It's a double for Masu as well as the wheels fall off for Shopify. 12-2 now for FlyQuest. They head for Baron.
Quad is a genius. He walked on that trap on purpose. 5-head genius. Quad walks on the trap, eats the cupcake, and kills all of Shopify. That's going to be the Baron.
There, here's on me.
Looks
not bad. He took a tower
look
shot
look
right there.
Look on Zin.
Bounced around there, all flashing out.
I'm looking more. I'm looking on Zin.
No flash.
Watch me as well.
Yep. I'm looking Zin.
Yeah, this guy's no flash. Hook in two. Nice,
We can go Baron.
Nice.
I have TP.
Our base guys. They use AD flash there, right?
Yeah. Revan and all the Shopify fans not happy with that one.
Yeah, I mean, you called it out. Zinni even took a turret shot. He was too close, right? In the shroud. Was revealed, so gets spotted and just auto attack down there by Gatghost, and that shroud afforded him no safety whatsoever. And now the Shojin is completed for Masu, so he is going for that new era build that I was talking about. And I also like, it looks like he's going towards Kanik Rookern as the next item. He's saying, you know what, literally the only way I can die is if I get one shot by Zinni. Well, guess what says no to that? A bunch of HP backed up by a bunch of MR. I think it's really smart. You don't really need more damage at this point. You can kind of just rely on the damage that you've already built up already, and all of the 300 stacks are going to be adding in that burn. So contract, Seos, it's going to be up to that kind of front line to find some sort of a play that maybe pick off Masu or Quad at the start. Otherwise, it's hard to imagine a fight in which they can win because the consistent damage is very high on the side of FlyQuest.
Yeah, FlyQuest damage is huge. They also have priority over the Dragon. I mean, this one you for sure give up. It's still only number 3. And it's not going to be game-breaking, so you're just hoping for the dream miracle defense for Shopify.
And you know it's less and less likely when you have to add in more descriptors there. You know, it's not just the dream defense. It's not the miracle defense. It's the dream miracle defense. That's when you know it's really desperate.
Yeah, it's when you're
if Kobe adds a third one, you're cooked.
You're in your dream, and even in your dream, you're like,
probably
can't
do
need a miracle.
That. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You know, hey, in your dream, you might be able to dunk. But in your dream, you probably still can't dunk on Wemby. You know, it's probably not going to happen. Your mind's like, all right, brother, let's relax.
Wait a second. I am.
That guy's like 9 feet tall. The math's just not working out here.
All right, teleport in here. Actually, the 4-1 split push is going to be sped up a little with the teleport from top side. They're getting Gatghost here involved early. Everybody going to rotate on over and actually get a hook.
Fudge taking a ton of damage now. Is pretty tanky, but not tanky enough. Masu is dominating, knocks him down. The DPS that FlyQuest has is terrifying. He steps forward and just gets locked up with no flash. Couldn't get into the Cataclysm and just fished in a barrel there for FlyQuest as now they're pushing in on that bottom side. 4 members strong in mid lane with Griffin pushing in the waves through bot. Zinni barely avoids the dredge line there, but they will have to sacrifice this first inhibitor tower as well as the inhibitor, and we'll see how far FlyQuest wants to go. Their family very happy about this turn of events. SR does not have great wave clear. Cryogen, dredge line in, looking for an angle to try to close this game out. Zinni tanks the shock blast, will be able to clear up that wave, as FlyQuest just going to back it off and clear up some of these camps.
Yeah, take all the jungle as payment. Contracts wants to defend here. Can they make a crazy play?
And Griffin doesn't have his flag and drag just yet. He's going to get comboed. Now going to be able to flag and drag. The locket comes in. The Crescent Guard is popped, and Contracts knocks down Griffin, who was trying to do the red and flag over to the Krugs at the same time. And that's both his deaths have been a bit of a greedy use on that flag and drag, it feels like.
And I like this from Contracts from Shopify. Obviously, they're so far down. They're like, we got to make something happen, please. And the Jace has no teleport, and the Jace is topside, so I'm chasing. Like, they are not stealing my stuff. I'm pretty sure that Quad was showing in mid lane as well. So he's, doing the math. He's like, there's not that much damage that can come out of the Fog of War here. So good chase from him. They punish Griffin, take him down. However, they're still so far in the hole. It's definitely too early to celebrate. No hands.
Still a multiple descriptor comeback, you know?
Yeah.
We haven't closed the gap to just one. And the Kana Grookern is completed, so it's going to be a super miracle engage to be able to take down Masu for sure. He is very tanky at this point. Grabs a Vamp Scepter on top, probably working his way in towards a Bloodthirster if the game gets there. Is almost at 350 stacks, so it's going to be very difficult to take down, and is really pumping out the damage at this point of the game.
I feel like this is a game where, okay, a lot of them are contributors to damage. See, everyone is like, oh, I can do a pretty close share. You see Quad, Masu, and Gakkos as well.
Where's Zinni's share?
Yeah, wait a second.
He's sharing with Cryogen.
Zinni, 6.9K down there. He's in it for the memes. That's about it.
He's got to be careful. If Cryogen gets a good depth charge, he could pass him. That's scary stuff. FlyQuest.
Dude, if your support ends over you in damage at the end of the game, you got it. There's got to be like, you know how there's, you get like medals and like accomplishments. Is there? There's got to be like a title for that.
Yeah.
I don't know. The title's not going to be a good one.
No, it's not. Masu stepping forward here, not scared of Contracts whatsoever, and Gakkos and Masu poking down Contracts pretty heavily there. Gakkos now up to level 19. As that is Ignite, does get poked off though, so we'll see if they can find an engage. Griffin threatening forward on the side as Contracts trying to heal back up. Fudge does arrive with the teleport. Mom gonna do a lot of damage there to Seos. He is down about 20%, so one Smolder Q would take him out. Zinni has to bail out on the flank as they are heading over towards Baron. All-in pings from FlyQuest are being spammed out. That Baron's up in 5, and they want to try to take it on spawn.
I mean, see a lot of pings from Shopify towards mid-wave. They're getting mid-prio, and they have a Scion angle.
Quad will be pretty split. I mean, he's going mid, so maybe they can try to contest, but it looks like they don't think they have a chance, so they're just going to give it.
Too hard to face check into the darkness. There, the pings were like, maybe we can get an objective bounty off this mid turret, but they couldn't even get that.
The depth charge is up and available. It does hit him with the dredge line. Fudge gonna pop the unstoppable onslaught just to try to run away. Contracts in trouble, pops the Crescent Guard there, trying to stay alive for a little bit of time. Nice knock up there onto Griffin. Seos flashed in on Masu. Masu has to flash out. The Unbreakable Will has been popped. Contracts going back in, but has no Crescent Guard. He's gonna burn down. Masu goes godlike. Fudge is burning as well. Zinni gets a massive shutdown on the Gakkos. That's 1K. Zinni's into the backline. The Spiraling Spear gets popped though, and Zinni gets deleted as all the kills go to FlyQuest there. 18-4. They wipe them off the map. It's an ace for FlyQuest.
And they're going to wipe Shopify off the stage with this one. The series will be completed. FlyQuest, congratulations with their families in attendance. They're going to take it.
FlyQuest gonna get the job done here. A dominant game 3. Great performance from the carries. Masu and Quad carrying a lot of the load in this one, looking really strong in the team fights. FlyQuest gonna take down Shopify, move to 3-2.
FlyQuest, all right, climbing up the ladders here, putting some separation between them and the bottom teams.